Alright everyone, hope you're all doing good today and hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another episode of Speedruns From the Crypt, our bi-weekly horror hotfix. My name is Ecdysis and I'm going to be your host for the day and hope you're all having a wonderful day as well. Before we do begin, I do just want to say that SGDQ is coming up at the end of the month. Prize submissions are currently open until June 16th, and if you're crafty and would like to submit a prize of the events, consider submitting something at gamesdonequick.com and you can find more info there. Alright, so our show for the night. We're going to be looking at a couple of games centered around fathers of horror, or, fathers in horror, more appropriately. Father's Day is coming up, and I figured by the time this probably gets on YouTube, it probably will be Father's Day, or around then, so it's quite fitting. I think we did one for Mother's Day a couple, shows ago, so it's only fitting that we also get Father's Day, as in the US, June is the time for Father's Day. So, considering Silent Hill 1 is going to be at SGDQ, I decided to go with Shattered Memories, which we'll talk more about that in a moment. And then Ethan Winters has become one of the quintessential fathers of horror, so later we'll be doing RE Village. Those will be the two games we have for today, and hopefully we'll enjoy them. Anyway, to kick things off, I hear new tech was found. I'll be excited to kind of revisit this game. We're going to be having Silent Hill Shattered Memories 80% with Punchy. Take it away.
Hello everyone, I'm Punchy, this is Silent Hill Shattered Memories. I'm just going to start the run and then do the talking, because this is one of those games that opens with like a minute-long cutscene. So, 3, 2, 1, play ball. Okay, so this is the psychological analysis Silent Hill. This guy, Dr. Kaufman, will talk to the player, and depending on the answers we give to his questions and little mini-games, it will direct the course of the game. So the run is not really preoccupied with a specific ending path per se, so much as whatever options provide the quickest reaction.
This will be different. We take this at your pace.
This form, I would like to fill it out.
No drugs. No theories.
No notes, no drugs, except I do have notes. I have notes open in the other monitor.
Understand what happened. Take a look at this short form. I promise it's the only one.
Oh yeah, also of note right out the gate, I'm playing the Japanese version, it's just the version I have. American versions of this game are like $400, bite me.
It's easier that way.
Hooray, filled out the opening form correctly. I have beaten the first hurdle of the I have reset to beefing the inputs to fill out the short form, more than I think anything I've reset to in the rest of the entire game combined. Because if you answer those questions wrong, it forks the entire game in a way that's undesirable.
Let's get started then. Okay, so we are Harry Mason, the protagonist of Silent Hill 1. This game is a reimagining of Silent Hill 1, so we're trying to find our lost daughter, Cheryl. Harry was in a car crash, and when he came to, his daughter is gone. So now he is trying to find his daughter.
Cheryl.
In the town of Silent Hill. Now, as is semi-traditional to the series, I'm going to be doing a lot of this run in the dark with the flashlight off. For whatever reason, depending on the circumstance, flashlight off either keeps the frame rate more stable, and because this game runs slower when the frame rate dips, it's faster to keep the flashlight off, but also sometimes flashlight off is just faster. Like, he just physically moves quicker. We'll see it when it comes up. But for the most part, flashlight stays off. This game was originally released for and was largely intended for the Wii. That's why there was a puzzle there where I had to control an on-screen cursor with the analog stick. You're intended to use, like, the cursor, the Wiimote pointer. So, like, why am I playing the PS2 version then? Because it's faster, as you might expect. On the Wii version, there are cutscenes that are unskippable that are on the PlayStation 2 and PSP version, so despite this game being primarily designed for the motion control gimmick, like so,
Cheryl.
The PS2 version is faster. Although it is apparently prevailing wisdom now that the Japanese version is actually slower ever so slightly for silly reasons. Apparently one cutscene just takes slightly longer to load. But as I said before, the American version of the game is $400. If one of you guys wants to spend like $400 to get this world record off me, you can have it, man. Whatever. Have fun. Anyway, first instance of RNG. Ooh, I got good RNG. How delightful. The specific can that key is in is random. You cannot predict it. You gotta rattle the cans and hope you can hear the sound, which sometimes you can't. It just sometimes doesn't trigger properly. And so here is a branch point, actually. There's two places we could go to, either the diner or the bar. Going to the diner is faster because we meet, like, plainclothes Sybil, as opposed to the bartender. Harry clipping into the door there, that's not a glitch. The game is just like that. That will happen every time you play the game. It's just that will happen to even normal people. Okay, now we're heading back the way we came. Cheryl is not here. Volume warning for tech. This is really loud, and it's the loudest part of the game by a mile. So if this peaks the audio, it doesn't get any worse from here.
Cheryl?
But fair warning, you might want to proactively duck this slightly.
Sweetie, you're okay? Are you at home? Sweetie, wait there.
Maybe I can
Wait
duck
for
out of
me.
there.
You have to run, Daddy. You can't fight them.
There it is.
Run.
What? Is somebody with you? Cheryl, I'm coming to get you.
Anyway, Cheryl's calling us on our phone.
Damn it.
We will have more interactions with the phone later. Hooray for compressors, thank God. It's very loud. But this is the loudest the game gets. Is it normal that every zone you enter, the game does a little stutter? Yes. That too. It is just like that. Anyway, now we're in one of the chase segments. The chase segment introduces a concept that I have termed dude speed. This is a name that I just call it that and it's stuck. It's one of those things. It's called dude speed because there are dudes in the area. The enemies, they are dudes. They're little guys. When a dude sees you, he screams at you. This causes Harry to start running, thus you have activated dude speed. So right now, I do not have dude speed because there are no enemies around. Where are the enemies? Don't make a fool out of me. I need to activate dude speed. Knocking down objects teleports Harry a bit forward, and then he dashes forward so that it's usually faster to knock stuff down in your path. So bear that in mind as well. I hear dudes. I hear dudes. They're in the pool. Dudes in the pool. Okay, they have screamed at me. Dude speed is now active. This is faster, which is ideal. So there's a balancing act here. You want an enemy to see you and scream at you as fast as possible in every chase event because that activates dude speed. But when an enemy has seen you, obviously they're going to become aggressive and try to attack you, and that's bad because you don't really have a lot of options for dealing with enemies in the chase segments. This game doesn't really have combat. But that's the first chase segment. That was alright. I didn't get grabbed by anything.
It's good that we touched on the car crash. That would have been a breakthrough.
And back to therapy.
But let's leave that topic for a while. I want to talk about family.
He wants to
It's
talk about
important,
family.
right? I don't mean all that touchy-feely crap. You're not a very touchy-feely person. You're giving me that look.
Okay, we're going to play questions with Kaufman, and once again, this will
Well, let's have
fork
you
the game in a
talk
desirable
about
direction.
Whatever you feel comfortable.
Generally, we're playing antisocial drunkard Harry,
Or false.
because that gets the most curt
Is
responses.
it true to say you're a private
Or a private person? No, I'm streaming. What are you talking
Would
about?
you say it takes a while for people to get to know you?
I'm going to say no, it doesn't take long to get to know us at all, because we're fast.
But not their family. Would you prefer to spend time with friends over family?
We'd rather spend time with friends over family because that biases us, like, away from the family ending. But family is like a stat the game tracks.
You're going to like
There's like a
this.
personality
Table of some
matrix.
pencils and a picture. I want you to let out your inner child and color.
And we're largely leaning towards
It's time
drunkard.
for family. You're finished.
We could color in the picture, but the only thing that does is it affects the color of the house in the next
In a
cutscene,
lovely
which we are
family
going
home.
to skip.
Is your home like this?
The color of the house has no gameplay implication. All right, now we're in the back of Sybil's car, getting a ride to the station to find our lost daughter. We're going to perform the backseat shuffle while she's talking. This is a strat, I promise.
But your face? I don't know you.
I keep out of trouble.
Not tonight.
Well, I guess tonight everything.
If we try to move to the front seat, we get a no golfing sign in the bottom left corner. We cannot golf inside the car. This is true.
Driving tonight. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
It's okay.
Back to doing the backseat shuffle.
What is with all this snow?
Who knows? We only covered basic meteorology in the academy.
Basic
We didn't
meteorology.
hear about this till it was happening. Barely had time to close off the major highways.
It's like the whole town is being punished.
Yeah, the outcome of the next dialogue sequence is determined by the proportion of time you spent fidgeting around in the back seat, so this is actually strats. As you see,
You're very restless back there, Mr.
you're very
Mason.
restless
Anything
back
you wanna
there.
tell me?
That is a faster dialogue option.
Of course I'm
The,
restless.
the
I'm worried
ensuing
about my daughter.
conversation is more curt as a
Seven,
response,
She's out there in this blizzard.
so we
Sorry,
save
I
some
didn't
time.
mean to.
Just hurry up and get us to the station.
That makes me nauseous, sorry.
This weather's just unbelievable.
I can stop now, it's fine.
Damn,
Sybil drives
I
off into the
can't see
woods.
road. I'm gonna see
Everything has
exactly where we are.
despawned.
Stay put.
This specifically, when Sybil leaves the car, this is slower on the Japanese version of the game, apparently. It takes slightly longer for us to be able to move into the front seat. Apparently the American version gets to do that slightly quicker, so I've heard. That's like very new wisdom from the Discord. I cannot confirm because I don't own an American copy of this game, and neither does anyone. Might be an emulator thing, who knows? Is not known. But I thought it was interesting. Anyway, we were told to stay put in the police car, so obviously we didn't. We immediately left. Everyone keeps their keys in their first aid box. Crank Windows, good lord, we're in H-time. This is a PS2 game, you know. An artifact of a different time. But okay, we're going to pass through the water tower. Well, around it. There are a couple of paths you can take through this part of the game. We're going to go through water treatment. Or, well, a tunnel. I think there's a sign that says whatever. Keep out, so we're going to not do that. Once again, keeping the flashlight off for speed reasons. Even though in the tunnels it is kind of hard to see where you're going. Also, if you mash the interact button, Harry will climb ladders and jump down stuff faster. That's why all the animations look like they go at normal speed and then they, for some reason, speed up to be very quick. That's speed mashing. It's a little thing, but it adds up. So here's a relatively new strat. Normally, we get a phone call from Sybil here, and the phone call button is mapped to the action button, so having an incoming phone call blocks you from performing necessary actions, but there's a memory here, an echo. That's like a hidden collectible kind of thing, where you get text messages from, like, ghost stories if you pass over a relevant location. Receiving a text message interrupts phone calls. So instead of pulling the phone out to decline the phone call from Sybil, touch a ghost instead. And that will stop you from getting phone calls. Then you can jump over the river. Like, one of the major techs in this game is avoiding phone calls or, like, dropping them at the right time, because again, the phone call, the button that picks up the phone is the same button that you use to open doors and stuff, so if you have a pending phone call, the game will actively block you from, like, from opening the door in favor of picking up the phone. Anyway, everything gets icy, all doors are locked. We are now in Chase 2. Our goal in chases is always just to exit the area, find the exit. You will not get dude speed here, that is normal, as the enemies do not start spawning until they are out here. You know, the developer of Withering Rooms, which is a game I've ran on the Hotfix before, actually tweeted at me saying that my runs inspired him to hack in a free cam for the game to have a look at what the behavior of the enemies is like. And he told me, you can't predict it at all. Sometimes they're halfway across the map doing who knows what, and half the time they will home in on your exact location with terrifying efficiency. And I'm like, that largely tracks with what I know. But it is very funny. It is very funny to be told that by the developer of a completely different video game that I've ran. He's helping out. Pitching in, you know? Anyway, I picked up a flare. A flare is an item you can use with L1 that will stop enemies from grabbing you. I chose not to activate it there, which might not have been the right decision. So I got grabbed once. I thought I could squeeze on by. Yeah, knocking down all the objects here because that teleports Harry a little bit forward every time you do it. We want to avoid getting grabbed like I did earlier, but you can't control where like I said, they just appear in places. Dudes be in places, and you just kind of gotta hold that. Here's a puzzle. That's the puzzle. Normally you'd hear the solution to that from a phone call you can listen to, but if you know the solution, you can just put it in. Now, since the puzzle interlude, my dude speed has been reset. I no longer have dude speed. And how fast I can regain dudes... Whoa, very early. Which means I have to activate basically instantly. Now. Because, yeah, you can't really outrun enemies. You have to keep them off you. So if there's a dude in front of you, then there's not a lot you can really do about that. Flare is going to run out about now, like as soon as I get past this guy, which is really inconvenient. So he's going to turn around and bonk me. No, maybe not. I might have gotten just enough leeway. Oh, no, yeah, okay. Didn't get grabbed at the door. No, did get grabbed at the door. Where did you come from? Yeah, so if an enemy is even, like, vaguely in the same vicinity as you when you try to go through a door, it has a nasty habit of, like, teleporting the enemy on top of you. They don't actually really have to be near you to do that. They just kind of teleport to you. Off. I'm gonna get grabbed the second time because, like, the entire population of Silent Hill is in this room. And let's go for a third, why not? And chase 2 complete. That was not the most fantastic luck in the world, will not lie. As a run, I will be straightforward. It is a pretty RNG-heavy game. It is a random kind of run. Success is determined by how many times you manage to avoid getting grabbed, and you don't have a strong influence over that, frankly. Like, you can make movements that work better on average, but sometimes the dudes be in places, and you'd rather they not be in places. When the dude economy is booming, you're a very sad Mason. But there's a balance to it. You don't want no dudes. Because if there's no dudes, you don't start running. You don't achieve dude speed. You've got to come up with better names for these terms. How is no one... Like, this game doesn't have, like, a huge number of runners, so we haven't come up with a better name for this yet.
Officer?
Taking
Harry,
suggestions.
I've been calling you. Did you switch your phone off?
No, I was
Picking up the phone call
Where I was.
will trigger the
Harry,
start of the
you
next
okay?
segment, so
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm out of the woods.
don't need to worry
I'm
about
on a
this.
football field. I think it's the high school.
Midwich High School. Listen, Harry, Midwich has a gym. They often use it as an emergency shelter in severe weather. Go to the gym and wait there for me.
Emergency shelter. Cheryl could have been taken there.
Yes, Cheryl could be there. Will you do this for me?
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, but if Cheryl's not there, I can't wait. I'm sorry, I just can't.
Harry,
Okay.
So we get to the halcyon days of high school. When I was starting out, the popular theory
Dude
said
speed
it
is
was
pretty
their
good.
mom and dad that screwed
All
a
right.
person up. But if you really want to screw someone up, I say,
All right.
send them to
Send
high
them to high school. Very
I bet
normal
you took
therapist things
studying
occurring here.
seriously. Nice folders and neat workbooks. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, so we're going to play word association now, and we're aiming for like
Nod when
drunken
they say how
jerk
you
Mason.
were at school. Shake your head if they don't. Ready? Jock.
Jock, that's a yes.
Next. Slut.
That's a yes. That counts.
Drunk.
Drunk, we're definitely taking that.
Ah. Virgin.
Absolutely not. That's not us.
Bully.
Bully, that, yep, we gotta take that.
And slacker.
We're no slacker. That doesn't work in our favor. This is all for the purpose of sculpting Mason into the personality
Let's
type
take
that
a
gets the
different
shortest
tack.
responses.
On the table, I've laid out a blank timetable and some cards.
And
with
the
lessons
answers
on
we
them.
give to this
Pick out the
create a
lessons to show me
timetable
your
question actually
school
influences
day.
the level.
Don't leave
This is
any
one of the few choices that actually
Girl
influences the
periods.
level design of the
Very
next segment.
generous lunch.
So, football, basketball, sex education, and math.
Done.
This will force us through a specific path in the school that's fastest,
Nice.
with the fastest puzzle.
If that was all there was to it, it would
There's
have
two
been
choices. It's like the art room or the planetarium, I think.
Let's talk more about
And the art room
bad
is
stuff
fastest,
that
so we
happened
bias
at
towards
school.
that path. I don't know why picking sports options and sex ed gets you there, but it does. Back to daytime, Mason. Need to grab a key from this window. The cursor can interact with objects even while the camera is panning towards the object in question, so if you're very quick with your inputs, you can interact with stuff almost instantly. But it requires surprisingly crisp inputs. A lot of this game is optimizing the cursor movements like that. If only because, you know, you can actually exert control over that. Unlike enemy behavior, which is... that's up to God. You gotta just, you pick a path and you pray. Where is Silent Hill? You know, I don't know if this game provides... The original games don't really provide, like, a definitive answer to that, I think. But I think this game might, but I've forgotten where. Forgotten what, like, state it's claimed to be in. Because this game exists in, like, an alternate continuity universe kind of deal, so it has a whole bunch of details that don't really line up with the rest of the series. Which is fine. Pull the nails out with your bare hands. Very normal thing to do. That was actually really fast. Yeah. Delicious. Pick up this ghost echo. No real reason, it's just there. Like, a distinctive thing between Silent Hill 1 and Shadow Memories is that in Silent Hill 1, Harry and Cheryl are driving to the town of Silent Hill, like, from out of town, for reasons. In Shadow Memories, Harry and Cheryl live in the town. Like, this is their home. Bob and weave through the biology classroom. This is where the path forks depending on the choices we gave. So we're going to go to the left. And as soon as we get into this room, the solution to this puzzle that we're not going to even look at is a phone number. So we call this number. And the guy on the other end says the door is open. How many times the phone rings before the guy answers is random, hilariously. True to life. Sometimes he can pick up basically instantly, and that's, fast. But okay, we've made it to the gymnasium, which is used as a shelter. Maybe Cheryl is here. She's not here. Spoiler warning, but no. So now, we're going to do an illegal and break into the headmaster's computer to look at the student records to find our daughter. I actually have to read Japanese for this. That's Shiners. That's the best baseball team. Shiners, Shakespeare's greatest comedy. This is the worst RNG because it's the longest answer. It's 12th Night. Normally this is a puzzle you're meant to solve by looking at the objects in the room. But if you know them, my best four-legged friend is this one. And that's Nicky. That's his dog. That resets the password, and then we can get into the system. You have to go through the password reset. That's the puzzle. Okay.
Shit.
You break it?
It just froze on me. It is her. It is her. We moved?
You don't remember because of the accident?
Yeah, the questions there's
It's not a great neighborhood.
8 different questions, and it will pick 3. So you can't simply memorize the answers. You have to be able to know what questions you're being asked.
What else did I forget?
Which is easier if you can
There's a
already
phone
read
number. Why don't you
Japanese. This
call
is
it?
probably the reason I'm the only one who runs the
I
JP
will.
version of this game.
There's no reception. I'll be outside.
Good luck.
Yes?
Cheryl?
No, Dahlia. You want me to find her? Who's calling?
It's her father, Harry Mason. Is she okay?
Harry?
Is she okay?
Who the hell do you think you are?
Sorry? What's the...
Leave me alone!
Well, phoning home didn't work.
to me?
There are troubles at home. And Chase 3 thus begins. Now, this chase has a gimmick. Firstly, the whole thing is a giant circle. But there is still an exit. There's a circle, it's a circle with an exit. Is it near the side of the door? It sounds close. Normally I don't get dude speed until I'm like outside, down the stairs, but I might pick it up early. Press R1, you can look behind yourself. No dudes. Okay. This is regular. There's a dude. He has screamed at me. Dude speed is thus active. The other enemies are kind of unaccounted for though, which is a bit concerning. I'm gonna get bonked by a dude on this door. No, there's no one here. Where are you? Where are the dudes? Oh, found a dude. Pardon me. He's gonna grab me as revenge for that. Fair enough. But alright, there are 3 icy statues blocking this path. In order to get rid of them, we must take photos around the chase area of these figures bathed in the red light. Because the phone has a camera attached to it. Crazy technology. What will they put in phones next? Mercifully, I've gotten a pretty easy... There's been nothing between the first 2 targets, which is nice. dudes here either. I don't know where the enemies are, but them being absent is very good for me because my dude speed is still active. I don't need more enemies. The easy ride is the fast ride. Oh no, there's a guy. I hear him. He's to my left. Do I hear him? No, yeah, he's over there. Activate. Activate the flare. Aha. Good timing. One flare will get us to the exit after taking the third photo. So that was honestly very good. That was an ideal situation. Oh, the last possible hurdle. That was downtown. But okay, still pretty good.
Harry? I was about to head off, but thought I ought to wait a little longer.
Thanks.
You okay? Any luck with the phone?
They didn't make any sense. I need to go there.
The Simmons Street address? That's the other side of town.
We need to go to the other side of
You got a
town.
car?
We're gonna get there via the most
I was
roundabout
planning on
means
getting a ride with
possible.
John. There's my boss's SUV. Yeah, I'm looking after it while she's on vacation. It's at the club where I work, not far from here. I could give you a lift.
That would be great. Lead the way.
Flashlight goes off. They especially go off during
You're going
these
to freeze.
segments. During segments where you are walking behind a character in outside Silent Hill,
I feel
with
bad,
flashlight
you
off, Harry genuinely moves
You're a car
faster.
crash guy.
Normally it's done for performance reasons and to avoid drawing enemy aggro because they do react to the flashlight.
I'm sure she's okay.
In this instance, having flashlight off makes you genuinely move quicker. Like, you can tell here, I'm like kind of bumping into her on the corner. That does not happen if the flashlight is
Your head is
on.
still jumbled up, Harry. You just give it a while, okay? You should go see a doctor.
In fact, you can see her head, like she keeps turning to face me because I'm sort of in a weird position that the game doesn't expect me to be in. Because you're not really meant to be pulling even with her. I am saying her because I will be perfectly blunt with you, I've forgotten this character's name. I think it's Michelle.
It's not far now. The Balkan is the hottest nightclub.
But I'm not
in town.
100% confident about that.
Really? It's pretty popular.
You work there, right? What do you do?
I sing.
Speedrunner's supposed to know, we're supposed to know all the
Sometimes I
lore.
mix drinks. It's a temporary thing while John and I sort
I,
things out.
meanwhile,
He's staying in
forget
Massachusetts.
characters'
He's
names.
a lawyer. We need to decide if I'm going to move out there with him.
You want to go to Massachusetts?
Yeah. Well, not Massachusetts so much, but I want to be with John.
And John?
Oh, he wants it too. It's just hard. We've been together for 5 years, but we never lived together. Now we're out in the world, living our lives.
John's a lucky guy.
Yeah.
He's probably just lousy at showing it. I know lawyers. They're not so touchy-feely.
Not so
Oh,
touchy.
John's not like that.
Here, we can actually pull
Back in
ahead
school, he was very
of
passionate.
Michelle
They say absence makes
because
the
of
heart
the
grow
corner.
fonder.
We can overtake them on
You
the
believe
corner.
that?
Absolutely.
Like I'm playing Initial D. The most modestly paced Initial D. And we get to the nightclub. So our order of business in the nightclub is to find Michelle's car keys. The car keys always appear in the third place you look, regardless of which place that is. So I knew maxim for life. It's always in the third place you look. 1, 2, and 3. You don't actually have to investigate any of the places as long as you click on 2 other places and then the third one, it will always spawn in the third one.
I got...
Deja vu! I've just been in... Oh, it's normal. Okay, it's normal driving. We've been picked up in a car by Dahlia. She showed up, so we're getting a lift. We no longer need Michelle's help with the car. If you're wondering why we've replaced one girl with a different girl.
I think I'm losing my mind.
What?
How long have you known me?
I don't know.
Nothing in the
A few
glove box.
years?
I
Put
don't
it
know
back.
you. I can't remember you since the car
I'm
crash.
staring at
Nothing's
Harry's
making sense.
crotch because staring at the road will reduce the frame rate and thus you lose
You
time.
said you crashed your car. You didn't mention this.
It's a fantastic crotch. What can I say?
And I can remember most things.
Just look at the detail on the jacket.
Some details
It's fantastic.
but then they slip away. And I think I'm seeing things.
You really don't know who I am.
No.
Sid and Nancy?
Who are Sid and Nancy?
My tits? You named them?
We're sleeping together?
This is a joke, right? A really lame joke.
I wish it was.
And bridge control room puzzle. The bridge control room puzzle presents us with a sequence of 3 levers that are pulled in a random order depending on the colored lights that appear on the control deck. Ideal RNG is to get green last, but I do not control that. That's pull left. That's green. Green is do nothing for like 2 seconds, so we can pre-pull the other levers. Pull right, pull center, and then it's done. It's ideal to get green last because then you can exit the lever control and go walk to the door and wait until it's done. But that's a 1 in 4.
Bridge is ready.
What's on the radio?
You know me. You know my daughter too?
Nothing.
Why is this not freaking you out? Me not knowing you?
This isn't the first time you've acted weird.
Yeah, Harry does not remember Dahlia.
Be straight
He's
with
perturbed
me.
by this.
Stop it.
Dahlia is
You
not.
know my daughter.
I know of her. Let's not go there.
So what are you to me?
Why do you have to be like this? Just leave things be, Harry. Harry?
Dahlia!
Everything freezes. This cutscene cannot be skipped on the Wii version of the game. This is why the PlayStation 2 and PSP versions are faster. It's like a 40-minute... 40-minute? Whoa, crazy. It's like a 40-second cutscene that's unskippable on that version of the game. Now we're in a car that's sinking in the bridge. In that cutscene, everything froze, and then the car went right off the side of the bridge. So now we must escape from a sinking car. So we're first going to equalize the pressure by opening all the windows and sink to the bottom. You can, like, try to open the doors. Doesn't actually help, though. So once again, we're going to stare at our crotch. Our flashlight has gone missing in the crash. That's the first thing we need, but it will always spawn in a seat that we're not currently in. And we want to eventually end up in the front seat, so we stick in the back left so we can move to the right, grab the flashlight, then end up back in the front seat. 1, 2. We've hit the bottom, and... flashlight. We've picked it up. Look out this window. Ooh, scary. They're Ned. I think text starts appearing. Oh, we're drowning. That's a sticky wicket. More through the water. It will soon be over. I didn't actually see what it said in English there. Anyway, focus on the radio. Tune the radio. The ice melts, and we can escape. We managed to avoid drowning.
Nasty, but inevitable. Everyone is going to die, even if we like to pretend otherwise. You could die tonight, in your sleep.
Therapist, I managed to avoid
doesn't that
drowning.
terrify
That's
you?
great. That's great,
How
Mason.
would you like to die? No, wait. Let me guess.
Continue your mission on the
You
big
want to
shell.
die surrounded by friends. It's academic, really, as we're only truly conscious of death when it happens to others. Get to my age, you'll have seen plenty of...
Okay, so he just said we'd like to die surrounded by friends, which is a morbid thought, but it's actually a hint as to what way our personality matrix is leaning at present.
There are 7 pictures of people on the table. Your job is to tell me who is dead and who is merely sleeping.
Divide the pictures up. Who is dead and who is sleeping. The effect that this minigame has on the overall plot progression is none. Despite a lot of the bluster from the game, a whole bunch of these don't actually do anything, and this is one of them.
It's just an exercise. There's no right answer. Actually, they are
all, in fact, sleepy-eeby.
Okay, let's get back
Just
to
like
it.
me. It's 3 a.m. right now. I have to stay up very late to do these hotfix runs.
Dahlia.
Anyway,
Who's Dahlia?
we swam out of the river and then passed out.
The car went
Sybil
into the
found
river.
us,
She drowned.
you know, unconscious
Another
and
crash?
freezing to death.
This is a different girl?
Taken us to a
You must
hospital.
have seen
Our
the
outfit
bridge.
has now changed.
We went right off the
We've replaced
side.
with a varsity jacket.
Harry, the bridge has been closed since the storm started.
So we have firmly evolved
You
into
swam.
our drunk
Could've died
jock
of
Mason
hypothermia.
form.
My clothes.
You were soaked to the skin. I grabbed what I could find here. We need to talk. When I was at the station, I pulled the file on Harry Mason.
Pulled the file on Harry Mason. But nope, everything's frozen. And now, ooh, deja vu. I've just been in this place before. Higher on the night in the night. I don't know the lyrics to this song. Yeah, you know, we gotta go. He refuses to get out of the wheelchair up to and including when this happens. Like, his legs aren't broken. He can stand fine. He just chooses to do that. It's very silly. We start off in the injured health state here. There is a health system in this game. You can die if you get grabbed too much in a row. But health regenerates over time when you're not getting owned. So you get it back before an enemy shows up in this segment, usually. There's a high degree of randomness on this one. Where are the dudes? Someone screamed at me. I don't know from where, though. Well, dude speed has been activated, so that's nice. They're behind the door. No, they're not. They're to my left. Nope, there's a guy. Dudes be in front of me, which is the place I would like them to not be. No. No, dudes are being in places right now, guys. I don't love it. Well, at least I got through the... No, there's a dude, and they're in places again. Yeah. I'm gonna get this flare. I'm gonna activate it instantly, because they are still very much up my butt right now, which I do not appreciate. Go away. And that's chase, what is it, 5? 4? I'm not counting. Alright, we're gonna tune the radio and then make a song request. 555 8814. And as soon as it goes through, we're gonna drop the call instantly. Like the worst call-in ever. Thanks? Nope. Not interested. This ain't a call-in show, buddy. Do your job. Give me the song. Play that funky music. Here's a popular tune. Why is it in Japanese? Because the American version of this game is $400. And also I can read Japanese.
Open. Come on. God, please.
Okay,
open.
I want to highlight the absurdity of this because this bugs me to this day. Lisa is a nurse who works at this hospital, right? She has crashed her car into her place of work,
wasn't even
a
supposed to
hospital,
be here
through the wall,
It's my day off.
right?
We
You
had
know,
3
and
nurses
she's
down because
she's
of
kind
the
of banged
weather.
up because of it. You know, she's bleeding from the head and all that.
I wasn't supposed to be here.
Understandably, she's upset about this. That's not the part I find strange.
Hey,
So,
Sorry.
crashed her
I'm just
car
upset.
through the wall of her workplace.
Don't worry, it's nothing.
shouldn't
The
we take
following
it inside?
interaction,
I'm ready to go
I
home.
do not understand.
My apartment is a few blocks north. I can clean
She's
myself
just
up
like,
there.
I'm gonna walk
I'm
home.
heading that way. Let me walk you.
We're gonna go with her. We're gonna walk with her to her home.
Okay,
We're gonna walk
But
out of the
you can keep
hospital
me company.
through the hole she made in the wall by driving through it.
Punchy, she doesn't have insurance.
It's
not
that's
far from
not.
my apartment.
That's, no, there's multiple
walks
layers
this
to
way.
this that
This
confuse it.
game
Like,
takes
never,
place in America,
Where
man.
did you
She doesn't have insurance.
that's not the point. I'm not. I wasn't gonna go
What
there.
happened?
I was gonna say right now, like a couple of GDQs ago, I was bleeding on the ground, dying, and I got in an Uber.
You lost.
made it all
You
this
lost
way.
the fight with a
I know it
pole.
doesn't quite add
I
up.
was, the ambulance came, and I got an Uber. I didn't want to pay like I think it was $2,000.
Okay, but,
Walking
like-
through that hallway was gonna be like thousands of dollars
There
per
are
step.
times when things don't
But
feel real.
she drove to her workplace, the hospital. Like she said, she wasn't supposed to be here because she was called in to replace staff because they were
Hey.
down staff. She drove to work, crashed her car into her workplace, and then just leaves immediately
That's the medication.
to walk home across the street. Like she lives within walking distance. I know Americans do in fact do that, so I'm not really questioning that part. But it adds to the picture of strangeness, you know?
Compared to a standard 9 to 5.
Like nothing about this interaction makes any sense to me. Maybe you need to be American to get it, but I don't. Like everything about this confuses me.
Hell of a wake-up call.
I'd just be more worried my car was there than anything else. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna do it. Behold, the Seinfeld chord. Nope, stop that.
Not long now.
You holding up?
This is the game's music is designed to kick in after you've been walking for a bit, but because I'm walking slightly faster, we get one low bass note
So,
before you pass that sign.
your accident.
We call it the Seinfeld
It's all
chord.
a bit hazy. Need to get my story straight before I call my insurance. They always try and twist it.
You were alone
Yeah.
and driving?
Yes.
Now,
Now you're trying to trick me.
Not me.
can we do it? Can I overtake
My
Lisa
car,
on the
too.
curve?
Got my own insurance
Can I
forms
take
to
this
file.
off?
So what happened?
It kind of feels like I blacked out before the crash. I
Couldn't
just remember
overtake her
coming
on the
to.
corner. Couldn't
I
do
remember
it.
coming
She's
off
too
the
powerful.
road, then wham. When I came to, I was confused. Cheryl
Ideally,
was
you want to
gone.
be in front of her
Arms
here.
wrapped
She'll
around
push you
a
forward,
post.
but it's really tight to get in
This is
front
like
of her.
being
That's
in a
like
therapy group for
it's like the
car crash
tightest trick in the run
survivors.
is getting in front of
Thanks
Lisa
for
on the
sharing,
corner.
Harry. Let's go around the room.
They still teach bedside.
All right, time
Watch some
for this strat. She's gonna go clean herself up. She's gonna get changed out of her nurse outfit. We are going to perform strats. No, really. You should pay attention to the outlet in the bottom right. It's filthy. Like, look at that outlet down there. It's horribly dirty. Like, what? How do you even get an outlet that dirty? You gotta clean that sometimes.
Time flies.
Terrible. Ignore, like, don't worry about what's going on in center screen. It's not a big deal. Yeah, she walks off screen for 2 seconds and is immediately fully dressed. I wish I could get changed that fast. But that was actually strats. She gets mad at you and kicks you out for, you know,
Wait.
peeping on her while she was changing. It is strats, I swear. Really.
You see, the thing that's dumber than the walking home, because, you know, maybe she has the exact pill she needs in her house. If you're gonna kick a man out for watching you change, which, you know, that's reasonable, it's totally reasonable, why would you ask him to get you pills?
Yeah, she then entrusts the man she just scolded for peeping on her to get her the correct medicine. We are not going to get her the correct medicine.
Why would you let him get you medicine?
Yeah, and we're going to give her the wrong medicine. She asked
she
for the
tells you,
red
like-
pill, we give her yellow. Because it's
Does she
faster
not
to give
look
her-
at what she, like, takes?
No.
Hey, free pill, thanks.
She just immediately takes the pill, and
Also,
it's
why would you
fastest to
have
do
medicine in
that.
your house
We
that just
lived in
kills you?
huts and wore furs. We worried over the
Who knows? She got that death pill in the cabinet just in case, you
Whether
know.
animals would come and eat us in the night. Now we have supermarkets, bottled water, and 38.
Nothing
caliber
about the
homes.
Lisa segment makes any sense. All of that, the entire interaction is extremely
More often
bizarre.
than not, guilt. If only I had acted differently. If only I hadn't said that. If only I'd said...
Doesn't even check that she just immediately
yourself
gulps it
up
down
in
without
your
looking.
past. Don't blame yourself. Blame the world. Blame God. Blame me.
Blame God, blame me. I blame you for this part taking so long.
You know, the sad news is that you could be
This is
colorblind.
my favorite. Let me introduce some friends of mine. This
True.
is King Harold.
But then again, the colors of pills are like red, yellow, blue, and green, I think.
A prince called Wilhelm. And a bull. He doesn't have a name. Prince Wilhelm
Something
is
like that.
passionately
We're being
in
told a
love with
story right
Celestine,
now
but she does not love
about
One
who
day,
is culpable for
Wilhelm
the
comes to
death
the king and asks for
of a
Celestine
princess in a
to
fairy
marry.
tale story.
Celestine begs the king not
It's a
to
very
marry
long-winded
Wilhelm,
segment,
but the
and the
king
ultimate
ignores
consequence
her
this has
wishes.
on the game
Royal
is
protocol
none.
means he must say
The
yes
answer you
to
give
her.
to this question
They are
does not
married,
do anything.
And Wilhelm takes Celestine back with him to his kingdom. That night, he attempts to consummate the marriage, but the distraught Celestine flees. She runs from the safety of the castle and across a field, ignoring the sign which warns.
There is a
danger.
category of this game where you can kind of skip things like this. If you open the disc tray of the console
She falls under his
and then
hooves
close it again
and is
quickly,
killed.
it will like skip ahead to the next part of the scene because it like
What I
can't
want you
read
to
the
do
current
is
scene
line
data.
the players
The
up
problem
according
with
to how
this is
guilty
that
they are of
it's kind of hard to do it
Celestine's
exactly. If you do it wrong, it crashes the game. And also, it makes discs die. And this game is expensive,
You want to hear that again?
you know?
Done.
Anyway, we just leave it as is.
Poor bull.
We blame the bull. The bull stamped the princess to death, therefore the bull is the most... The bull is the most guilty, whatever.
I find the best cure for guilt is to never get caught in the first place.
The best cure for guilt is to not be guilty. Forehead. Great therapist. Alright, let's go shopping. We have successfully given Lisa medicine. We're gonna let her sleep it off. We resume our search. Get in, loser. We're going shopping. Which is to say, we're going to the mall. Text message that I'm not gonna read. And that's a phone call from Lisa. Lisa somehow has Harry's phone number and rings him up to be like, "Oh, Harry, you gave me the wrong pill. I'm dying. Why her?" But it turns out you don't actually have to answer the phone call. You can just leave. But we do have to go back to check on Lisa, even if we don't pick up the phone call. Don't worry so much about the timer, guys. You're not seeing the forest for the trees. Focus on the beauty of the run in front of you. Not the funny numbers down there having a moment. I can't see it for what it's worth. I'm just like reacting. Become one with the speedrun. Be more zen. Anyway, Lisa's dead.
Don't.
She had an adverse
move.
reaction.
No,
Tragic.
this isn't what...
I said don't move. Stand up and step away
Don't
from the
move.
girl.
Stand
This is
up.
what it looks like.
Stop talking.
Stop talking. Stand up. Don't move. Sit down.
She was in an
Pull that
accident.
chair
I
out
didn't
and
do
sit on
this.
it.
Accident.
Sit
Shut
down
the
and
hell up. You've
stand.
been feeding me bullshit all
Stand
night.
and... Yeah.
Bastard.
I didn't...
Shut up! I know you're not Harry Mason.
We're not Harry Mason. And then the entire world freezes. See ya. Harry's stand activated, thus allowing him to escape. Thus beginning chase 6. I think this is 6. Is it 6? It might be 5. Whatever. This is probably the worst one in terms of like how heavily bad RNG can like tank a good run. So the dude speed is almost always acquired in the exact same place, which is this room. Yep, there's dude speed right on schedule. The ensuing sequence is a complete mess. Damn, that got on super late. Hi there. Yeah. Some stuff is happening right now. Damn, before I even got to the ledge. Brutal. Can I get through this door? Nope. Not without being bothered, anyway. Get a slight reprieve from knocking down this shelf, but if there's dudes on the other side of this door, I'm going to be mad. Because you'd rather not... dudes in places. This is the one thing we didn't want to happen. Note the colors of the beak of that toucan over there. It's key to a puzzle. And also, one of the major sources of randomness for this game. A literal gacha machine, except more, like, standard. You will see in due time. Being bothered as I head through garage access, so that's nice. The enemies have mostly ceased to be. Okay, coming up on the gumball machine. We need gumballs to come out of the machine that match the colors of the beak, so red, yellow, pink, and purple. Flashing lights warning, this is kind of harsh on the eyes. We're gonna shake the gumball. Pink? 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 Nope. 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 Yellow? Need red and purple. Let's go gambling. Ah, dang it. 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 Purple! Red. Ah, dang it. Ah, and so on and so forth. There we go. Middling gumball. You can absolutely just, like, one-shot it 4 in a row. But good luck with that. That gumball machine divides runs harshly. Harshly. That is a location where runs can swing from being pretty far ahead to completely hopeless. It is a make or break point. It all rests on the mighty gumball. Good. The train has a key on it. We're gonna make the train crash. What happens if you don't notice the colors? You get stuck, I guess. The game does kind of expect you to, like, double back and look around. Like, you can turn around and go find the thing and look at it again. It's not one way. This is a phone call cancel. We're going to proactively put out our phone about here. Because it's not a real phone. Normally a phone call would come in, but the game is programmed in such a way that you can't receive a phone call while the phone menu is open. So by pulling it out briefly there, we cancel the phone call we would have gotten that would have prevented me from opening the door. Basically, we parried a phone call. That's what happened there. Just tech those. Cinereal. people will look at this and say, real. Nope, stuck on the seat. She loves her daddy. That, for some reason, forces the flashlight on, so we turn it off immediately. Now we're heading to the antique store. The antique store is a location in the first game as well. Again, this game being a reimagining, as it were, of Silent Hill 1. It's kind of hard to know what to call this game. I've seen people call this a remake. I don't really agree with that. It's a semantic argument, really. But like, it has the same characters and a lot of the same locations as Silent Hill 1, but it tells a completely different story. So like, what do you call that? I don't know. It's a thing. It exists. It's neat for what it is. But in contrast to, like, you know, the upcoming Silent Hill 2 remake, this is not Silent Hill 1 remake. It's a other kind of thing. A shattered memory of Silent. You know what? Shattered memory. That's kind of on point.
How do you know?
It does make sense that it's like a fractured retelling of Silent Hill 1,
Where's Cheryl?
because that's
Still at
kind
the
of literally what it
lighthouse,
is.
maybe.
Lighthouse?
What are you doing here, Harry?
This is
Looking for
Dahlia again.
Cheryl.
She looks different now.
Isn't this my house? Who are you?
You look really good.
Who are you?
We're soulmates, you and I. For richer, for poorer. In sickness and in health.
You're my wife?
My wife. And then she freezes. You know, Ignisis, you know you've ran games with a theme of wife good, wife bad. You've done themes like that for this show as well, right?
No.
No?
Nope.
Oh, I thought you had. I was going to ask.
Just my own YouTube.
Just on your own YouTube. Ignisis has done little speedrun marathons categorizing horror games into like wife good or wife bad. Where do you think this game lands on the scale of wife good versus wife bad?
Indifferent.
In wife indifferent. That's an option. I didn't
You don't really
realize.
see her enough.
I guess not. They seem to be on strained terms, so I would have put it in wife bad. But father good. Harry Mason is horror gaming's most devoted father. And now we're gonna jump straight off a large cliff. Not really cliff, like overhang, I don't know. Whee! I guess whether or not it's wife bad depends on the ending you get, though. There is like a nice guy Mason ending. Ethan Winters is absolutely up there, and you'll be seeing that on the next run. You know what? Good for him. Horror gaming as a new quintessential dad. You had to approach a certain point in the darkness there. From the you can feel it out from the radio reacting on the Wii version. That would come through the Wii speakers. I had a hell of a time with that puzzle the first time I played this game because I had my Wii speaker volume turned off, and it turns out the game assumes that you will not do that. I'm just gonna stick to the right wall and see what happens. Unsurprisingly, dudes are in places. Okay, only one grab is not bad for the first portion of that. That's pretty standard. She loves her daddy. Write that down in your copybooks. There will be a test later. Shit. And once again, take a big leap. It's worth doing once, it's worth doing twice. Did you get it yet? She loves her daddy. Maybe you missed it. Here, the light illuminates the way. The shadows are walls. The light is a place we can walk, and we actually want our flashlight on. Because if we do not turn our flashlight on, when we advance to the next chase segment, here, there's pretty good odds that this first guy in this room just won't see me, and therefore I won't get dude speed. But with the flashlight on, dude speed is all but guaranteed. So I can start booking it. Now, this is a puzzle sequence. We need to proceed through these rooms in a specific order. You must pick the rooms that have the ice in front of them. Good thing I turned the flare on. And done with that. That is chase 7, I think. I've lost... We've established I don't know what the numbers are. Boom. And Cheryl's not there either.
You know, I think we're getting somewhere.
We're getting somewhere.
We're all tied up in this marriage thing.
It's all about marriage now.
Marriage worked a lot better when we didn't live so long.
So we're going to give answers that are inherently hostile
to remind us how quickly marriage is sour.
To marriage and relationships.
You think I'm being cynical? Divorce does that to you.
This guy is extremely divorced.
Come on. You think marriage can really last?
Marriage, it can't last.
Should a couple stay together for the kids?
No.
Do you think it's a bad idea to marry young? You think sex becomes stale after marriage?
No, these are not my personal beliefs. They are simply efficient for speedrun purposes.
Expert on marriage,
Disclaimer.
You're going to ace my matchmaker.
Answers provided in the video game do not reflect the character of the runner. All of this is insane. Right, we've got to sort these guys into married couples. In honor of Pride Month, I'm going to create the maximum amount of gay afforded to me.
All finished. Okay. Now tell me which of those couples are still together. I'm joking. You know I'm just trying to provoke you.
That's actually also the fastest way to fill it out, because that question, or like the way you fill this out doesn't actually do anything. So it's fastest to just make 2 of them gay. Woo! I hate marriage confirmed. You gotta hate on it. You gotta be a hater to go fast in this run.
So you were at Midwich too, John?
A few years back, yeah. Prom king.
Because being a hater causes...
John got to be king because
You'll
his
see.
family owns half the town.
This scene is affected by it, in short.
You still fit into that dress?
I fit this one pretty well. Right, Harry?
What? You bring along this guy to what, taunt me?
Hey, sorry if
You think this is about you? Harry's here because he needs help. I'm not the one who missed the reunion.
I actually had it in my head we might try and make this work. God, you are so different now.
We are so different. Stop the car.
What?
Stop the car. Stop the damn car.
Oh, I'm shuffling in the backseat.
You could have killed us.
Sorry, Harry.
Yeah, so these two get into an argument almost instantly and run off, which is good for our purposes. If your answers to that specific set of therapy questions differs, if you're more positive on marriage, the conversation goes on for longer. And you don't want that. You want the conversation to end quickly, so we have, by proxy, by way of our mind psychological powers, we have ruined their relationship for the sole purpose of completing our therapy session quicker. Now we're going to take a trip through the sewers. And yes, but they did in fact both just leave us in the car alone. They both just got out of the car, left it unlocked, no less. Cheryl is currently calling us, the daughter that we're trying to find, but this is annoying that she's calling me. Stop calling me, Cheryl. I'm trying to find you. I need to use this ladder. And now I'm going to do a phone call cancel. A couple steps forward, pull out the phone proactively, because Cheryl will try to call again, which is... Missing daughter, so needy, trying to be found with these... whatever. Can't you see I'm busy? Nice. Got that curtain pull nice and quick. Shadow Memories runs are so funny. It's like, I get excited by, pulling back a curtain slightly quick. It's like, ooh, that was a good curtain pull. Delicious. What a good curtain grab. Yeah.
We're getting deep in it now. I can almost
We're getting deep in it now.
taste it. All this
Take the
talking,
night.
we still haven't touched
Not
on the
sexual.
sex thing.
And sexual.
What you're thinking? Aren't all psychiatrists supposed to be obsessed with sex? It's not us. It's you. You're obsessed with sex.
Apparently I'm obsessed with sex. I don't know about you, but I'm thinking about time save.
You're thinking about it. Come on, let's have some fun. See the pictures on the table. I want you to divide them up. The ones you think are a sexual symbol go on the left. The ones that aren't, the right.
Alright. All of this, I'm having none of it. None of this. None of this is sexual.
None of them?
None of them.
Now you're screwing with me. You're in denial about sex. Sex and death. Sex is death. It's a leap into the void. The great loss of self. The tiger in space. A plea for annihilation.
The tiger in
To
space.
deny sex is to deny
Sex
death
is the
itself.
tiger in space. Silent Hill Shadow Memories 20-something. I forget when this game came out.
Who are getting enough don't need analysis.
Isn't it on the layout?
You clearly are not getting enough.
The tiger in space might be the most famous line from
Let's
this
see
game.
this through to the end.
I think it's... I'm told it's actually from something. some piece of literature. I don't know. For what it's worth, the Japanese subtitles also had no idea what to make of that line, the tiger in space. They translated it literally to just the tiger in space, you know, like, as in the cosmos. The Tunnel of Love. Are tunnels of love a real thing? I've never seen one of these in real life.
I think they are, but I've never seen one.
This feels like it's one of those American things, because like there's also a Tunnel of Love in Left 4 Dead 2. And even then I remember thinking, is this a real thing that like actually exists? Do you guys build these? It's from the 1949 book The Accursed Share by Georges Bataille. Bataille? I can't pronounce words. Let's not pretend otherwise. Thing is, you could be saying anything and I would believe that, because I couldn't tell you what it's from. Anyway, we were chasing down a ghost girl there. She spawns in 3 different places to melt the ice to get out the door. Chat's saying they do exist, so I will believe it. I'm on kind of a delay relative to chat, unfortunately. But good to know. Thank you, guys. You just tell me he was a French philosopher? That is... Huh. I didn't know. I'm learning. I'm learning so much about the game today. Tunnel of Loves are real? Tunnels of Loves? Whatever. Stop that. Anyway. Everything is frozen over. We're heading to the lighthouse. The lake is frozen. When we get this phone call, we can now just don't press button. It turns out the major new innovation made in this run is deleting input from it, because it turns out running forward here makes the ensuing enemy spawns less favorable. It is faster if you stand still and wait for them to come to you. Because our goal here in this segment is to die. We need to get 4 enemies on top of us immediately. The dude economy needs to boom. Normally, I achieve this by running towards the enemies, you know, because I thought that made sense. It turns out that is actually the wrong thing to do. You should do nothing. You should not do that. You should read a book instead or something. I'm not actually going to read this out. Oh, they're already here. Just in time. I'm going to walk this way, though, because like, you see he's right there? Yeah, there's one guy. All aboard. 2 guy? 3 guy? 3 guy? 4 guy? 4th guy? 4th guy. Excellent behavior. No delay between that. 4 dude kind of situation. We love that. And now, continuing the streak of misfortune, our goal is to drown. You can swim towards the lighthouse if you want, but this is another case where doing stuff doesn't actually make any difference. You're going to drown either way. It's just a matter of how long you struggle. That's a bleak note to put the run out on. But by and large, this is like the final QTE before the end of the game. We're coming up on time here. Harry just needs to drown a bit faster than this. First time I played this game on the Wii, I did this section by grabbing the nunchuck and swirling it above my head like a lasso. Because it liked that input for some reason. Anyway, we wash up at the lighthouse somehow. It's fine. And time will be in a couple of rooms. When I touch this next door, that's time. And time.
GG.
This is going nowhere.
GG.
I'm spelling it out, but you're not listening. Your troubled school days?
Yeah, so it turns out we have advanced, we've gotten Harry all the way to where the therapy session is taking place. It's in the lighthouse clinic. There's a therapy clinic inside a lighthouse. And, it turns out Harry Mason was dead the entire time. It's actually the delusions of Cheryl who has been receiving this therapy session. Also of note, the door doesn't really align with the floor properly in the PS2 version of this game. You might notice it's kind of floating.
The term
Yep.
is complicated.
That was Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Hope you guys liked it. If you enjoyed the run, feel free to drop me a follow over on the channel. It's pinned in the chat. Thank you very much for that. I have been pursuing improving the All Mementos world record recently. I think I can push it down like a whole minute barrier in the near future. All Mementos is a category where you collect all the collectibles in the run. It's like the local equivalent of a 100% category, but we went for any percent for this run. The main reason for that being that in order to verify an All Mementos run, you have to sit through the entire credit sequence, because at the end, Cheryl holds up like a box of all the stuff you've collected over the run. In any percent, hilariously, she like postures with an empty box and then cries and leaves. In All Mementos, the box is full of things, but the credits are like 10 minutes long, so we got a schedule to keep on the hotfix.
The dad walking around.
All right, I've pretty much covered a lot of the stuff I wanted to say. I usually go over there. That works out. If you do not know Punchy or you enjoyed the run, you can follow him in the link in chat, twitch.tv/Punchy, and also there's a lot of fun YouTube stuff as well. Pretty much horror all around and RPGs.
I do all kinds of stuff. I speedrun over 100 different games. It's not as, but you've severely overtaken me by now. How many are you up to?
Hit 190 last night.
Yeah, why?
Why did you have to
How do you do it? How do you keep...
It wasn't my
Man.
Carefully.
Okay, by the way, what was the time on that run?
Let's say 118.48.
Forget me.
118.48. Close. That was within 15 seconds of my PB. Very good. Very good. But not quite. Close. Genuinely pretty good. I'm actually quite surprised. I didn't think it was that fast, but that was probably in with a chance up to about the 2/3 mark. Nice. The speedrun.com isn't currently updated. I have a PB that hasn't gone through verification yet. So it wasn't a world record, sorry. Actually, let's pretend it was. It makes it more hype. Yeah, it was a new world record, guys. I'm the best kind of player. Woo.
All right, just don't submit the other one, then you have record. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course. Of course.
You sandbag it.
Totally.
Anyway, you're gonna see the ending here. While that's going, I'm just gonna give a couple of quick updates. One, if you're watching us on YouTube, well, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's always appreciated. As well, Twitch chat here, subbing, Prime Gaming, and all that does support the GDQ stream between main events, so consider doing it if you want. Anyway, here's the drunk dad, Harry Mason.
Now, give me a damn beer. I wonder I drink with a family
I love the way he
like
just
this.
looks at the bottle, by the way.
I'll drink to that.
Like, Techie pointed it out once, he does like a tiny frown, it's like really sad.
He's so sad about the bottle.
He is. Alright, anyway, thank you all for enjoying the run of Silent Shattered Memories. Once again, if you're down to Punchy, the link is in chat. We have one more game for you tonight. We'll be back with the Resident Evil Village in a moment, so be right back. Alright everyone, welcome back from the break. Hope you all been enjoying the show so far. We had a pretty fun run of Shattered Memories. It's always nice to see even just minor simple changes in a route. In case you didn't miss it, they pretty much changed the ending so you don't do anything, which is faster, and I always think it's kind of funny. Anyway, we do have one more game for you coming up, continuing on with the theme of Father's Day. We're going to be looking into Resident Evil Village, which honestly is just kind of a classic Resident Evil game at this point. I guess more of a modern classic, but still fun nonetheless. Anyway, here is RE Village, any percent glitchless with Captain Ezekiel. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Ek. Hello, everyone. As Ek said, I'm Captain Ezekiel, and we are here with Resident Evil Village. Before I explain anything else we're going to do in this run, I'd like to introduce my commentator, Nico with a C, if you want to say what's up.
Hello, everyone. What's up? Happy Father's Day. And we're about to witness probably the best father in any video game ever.
Yeah, Ethan Winters is the GOAT, especially when it comes to horror games. So I appreciate Ek choosing this game because it's a pretty perfect example. So we're going to get right into this one. We are doing new game, casual, glitchless, which is, as it sounds, new game, meaning we don't use new game plus, casual, meaning casual difficulty, and glitchless, meaning we don't cheat. I'm just kidding.
True.
We are not going to be using any glitches. So we are playing in first person. There is a third person version of this game now, but we continue in first person. So timer will start when I skip the second cutscene. So let's get right into it here. You might notice something that Mia looks a little bit different. Nothing else is out of the ordinary. All right, so timer will start now in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, brother.
Thank you. So the story of this game, if you're not familiar, is we're playing as Ethan Winters. This takes place a couple years after the events of Resident Evil 7, where we are here with our daughter Rose, and the whole premise of this game is that Rose gets taken, and then our objective is to basically get Rose back. And a whole lot of things are going to unfold during that. The start of the game here, not a whole lot going on. It's quite literally just a deliver the baby sequence. So we're just going to drop her off there and go to leave the house. This is kind of like a cinematic start to the game. It really wouldn't be a Resident Evil game if we didn't start the game with 15 minutes of doing a whole lot of nothing, it feels like. Especially when Mia Winters is involved.
Oh, yeah.
Very common.
This is light for a Mia Winters game, let me tell you.
Yeah, we have 2 games with Mia Winters, and both of them, they make us wait a very long time. So yeah, Resident Evil Village is this game came out what 2020, right? May of 2021.
Yeah.
And this game is absolutely phenomenal. It has a lot of really good speed tech to it, even a glitches that we abuse. One of the biggest things that we are going to utilize, you'll see coming up here at the start, once we get to the Lycan Siege, is called a DA. So Nico, do you want to explain what DA is?
Sure. So DA stands for difficulty adjustment. It's a very common thing in Resident Evil games. I think dating all the way back to, if I'm not mistaken, the original Resident Evil 4 game, where the worse you do, the easier the game becomes. But also, the other flip side is, the better you do, the harder the game becomes. Now, there is like a range to it, depending on what difficulty you pick. So because we pick casual, it only goes up to, if I'm not mistaken, DA2. At the highest, and DA0 being the lowest. Now, if we're at DA0, we do more damage to enemies, bosses, etc., and we take less damage. So obviously, we want to get to that DA score 0 as fast as possible and as low as possible. So we're going to be abusing the Lycan Siege to the maximum. The way we're going to do this is basically take a heap of damage and heal, because healing at a lower HP threshold actually gives us much more, or drops our DA score a lot more. So Zeke is actually going to be cheating a little bit and having a little bit of a tool that tells him exactly what his DA score is.
Yeah, exactly. So the tool he's referring to is called the SRT. It isn't actually, in terms of speedrunning in this game, it is allowed. It's a tool that essentially I can either show on my screen that you guys would see, but I don't really have that overlay on. I have it on another monitor. It just essentially tracks my health and my DA, because DA is a hidden number for very obvious reasons. The game, normally, you wouldn't be able to see stuff like that. The DA manipulation you're going to see here that we do in casual glitches was actually something that was found very early on. It was something that was found on accident, and it was implemented by me and another former runner, Catlink, at the time. Where we discovered that taking damage in the Lycan Siege, one of us had a significantly faster boss fight at the end of the game. Turns out that's when we discovered DA played a very massive part in the game. And then I routed in basically an any percent to getting my face kicked in the Lycan Siege, which is basically what it is. So you'll see that here. Again, we're still kind of in the walking section, but when we get to the Lycan Siege, it's going to look very strange because I'm literally just going to run around and go to every Lycan and be like, what are you going to do? Hit me? And then they hit me, and then I go to the next one, and I do the same thing for a few minutes.
Yeah. Hopefully they hit you. They are kind of on a timer, it feels like, with like how aggressive they can be on specific difficulties and stuff like that. So once you do get hit, you do have a little bit of downtime to run around, pick some items up and stuff like that. Maybe craft like a heal, and then you can go and get hit by another Lycan. But you basically want to get hit by as many Lycans as possible during this section. Early days routing this game, we were kind of trying to figure out what made Lycan Siege tick, and there is a very, very famous quote from I think it's like a documentary about RE Village where the developers are sitting there and saying, yeah, people didn't really, when they were playtesting this, they didn't really know what the objective was of the Lycan Siege. And then we finally figured it out. We figured out how to make it obvious. And when we were playing casually, we had no idea what the heck was going on. And when we were speedrunning it, we still didn't know what was going on. So we don't really know what it was that we're referring to at all. Because there are like mini objectives you can do during the Lycan Siege, but it doesn't really speed up anything at all. The best thing you can actually do is stand in 2 specific spots. And, well, Zeke will show it when we get there.
Yeah, the Lycan Siege, when we were first routing it, was really funny because everyone was coming with their own ideas of how to survive it and what to do. Everyone's first instinct was, well, if you sit on a ladder, the Lycans can't hit you. However, I believe, I want to say it was Hazeblade, or someone sat on a ladder for, I think, 10 to 15 minutes before they were like, hey, I think this doesn't work. And it's because Capcom thought of that and then made it so that this Lycan Siege pauses. So we're coming up to that here in a second. So we finally get our first gun, and we get here and we get our fingers bit off. So we're going to run here, juke to the left to avoid that guy, and we get the Resident Evil staple. The same bolt cutters that are in the last 4 Resident Evil games.
Yes, sir.
We need them. Very important. Now we're actually out of what I would consider to be the whole W auto scroller section of the game, and now we're moving on into the actual Lycan Siege and combat of the game. Now, the way this works is these triggers are positional based, so as soon as I walk up here and get my speed, starts the first part of it, and I'm going to go down here and grab this ammo, and the Lycan is going to spawn, and the Lycan has to die. 7 shots. Didn't miss. Huge. Grab this chem fluid and this herb, and these are the only 2 of those that I should have to pick up. Now we're kind of just waiting a second. The door is going to open, and then we're actually going to start the Lycan Siege. It starts by me running out here. There's going to be a Lycan hanging out on this hill, and I'm just going to pop him in the kneecap. That starts the whole event, and now these guys are going to jump down, and if I do this right, I kind of want to stand like right here. I need to get a double hit. It's alright.
That's fine.
We're basically going to be running around and getting bit and hit a whole lot. Ideally, we wanted to take a different type of hit there, but it should be fine. So these guys are, like I said, on a little timer. He can't grab me. He's only going to be able to hit me. Because Lycans cannot grab you back to back. And now we're going to kind of run around.
Count it with us, chat. That's 2. S is 3. 3 hits.
3 hits. Yeah, count how many times a Lycan gives a kiss to us. It's kind of insane. Not just Lycans, we're also... I'm going to make this guy jump back, and then we're going to blow this guy up. Like I said, all this damage, I'm doing everything. It looks so strange. I know how awkward it might appear, because we are actually just on a hard timer. There's nothing we can do to speed this up or anything. There are ways we can slow it down, but obviously we're not going to do that. I also have to be careful, because it is very easy to die. Even on casual, you can die. So right now, I'm at... I know I'm going to be put to pretty close to critical health, so I'm going to get myself over into this corner. The idea here is I do not want to enter a building. Entering a building will actually cause an explosion to happen that we want to happen later. And it'll kind of delay spawning who is called Urias. And he'll be here shortly. He's got a big old hammer. It looks like a Dark Souls boss, basically.
Yep.
They like to stare at you. You stare at them. Kind of mean mug. Walk through this guy.
Watch out you don't have a me incident.
Yeah. He should be spawning here any second now. That guy is doing something.
Oh, he is running. He's got places to be.
He's running like a Scooby-Doo villain.
He's a track star, that guy.
I'm gonna go take a hit here.
Uh-oh.
It's fine. It's on purpose. And, yep. Someone else gives me a touch. We're not under the threshold of death yet. I think this guy can hit me if he wants. If he wants. Alright. Now I'm going to try to avoid taking damage. Urias is breaking through here. I need to not get unlucky here. Please don't hit me.
Oh, no.
That was close.
Oh my god, iframes.
I actually got saved by iframes, so that was
You
very
almost
very
had a knee
unlucky.
incident.
That guy was bolting at me. So now we can go in the house. We're gonna grab that herb. We don't really need it, but grab that shotgun. Grab this. We're just grabbing a couple items we're gonna need.
And you might be looking at this and saying, well, Zeke, you're like walking very, very slowly because you got injured. But again, it is all on a timer, so it doesn't really matter that this happens.
Gonna make that heal. That's the one craft we do. And now what I'm going to do is run into this house. DA is looking pretty good. And we're gonna take an explosion here intentionally. And then we are going to pick up some ammo, and then we're gonna use our heal. The way I do this in order is actually very important to make sure I don't mess up my inventory. Use this, and now we're gonna pop the heal. Now we're looking to get beat up a little bit more. Urias, we need him to not frag out on his own boys.
Yeah, because Urias actually accidentally killing his own, mobs will increase Zeke's DA. So we don't want that to happen. And that can very, very easily happen.
Okay.
It's looking really good so far, though.
One more hit.
Nice.
He's gonna do a triple hit here. Can I get another one in? He missed.
Iframes, unfortunate.
One more hit will be good. I'm gonna take it from behind me so that they don't grab me, because the siege should end right now.
Very nice. 952, that's really good.
Yeah, pretty good siege. Didn't die. Almost did, but we didn't.
Close.
Rose is here?
So yeah, all that, literally all of that you just saw, everything that we just did, all the hits we just took was actually to set up for 2 boss fights. One is Lady D, the other being Moreau. The more important one is Moreau. But you'll find that out later. So we're grabbing a couple puzzle pieces now, do a little bit of housekeeping. We have to get some items. Time to get the most broken item in the game, is the mine. This game has explosives. It has mines and pipe bombs. They are both insanely strong. The strongest of the two being mines, hitting for 3,000 damage base before multipliers, including DA multipliers. And they stack, and they do not affect Ethan. So basically what that means is we can put a bunch of them on the ground, and it is a strategy in Village of Shadow speedruns where you put a whole bunch of them down. I'm talking like 10 to kill Moreau, and it is incredibly effective. So we're going to be using some of those bad boys and dealing with a lot of bosses and mini bosses with them. So yeah, look forward to that.
We also have a little bit of downtime here because old lady who gave us safe housekeeping, or house, what's it called? Safe haven? There we go.
I'm gonna let you figure it out.
I'm not native English, so you know, I gotta you gotta give me a second, you guys.
All right.
Yeah, it gives us safe haven.
So we're gonna wait a second here. There's a little caveat to this game if you ever speedrun it, where if you let a cutscene run for like a second, it changes the way the game works. So like you're a little bit faster coming out of them. I'm not gonna do this too much in the run because it's not really RTA friendly, but I will do a pause buffer here. There's an item in this drawer. If you pause while it's opening, it actually lets you interact with it without losing what we would consider to be LRT time, which is how this game is timed, using an LRT timer.
Yeah, effectively LRT is just load remover, so it would skip out on cutscenes when you're. What else?
Pause loading.
Actually, pause is loading.
The
yeah.
big thing
Because
is
there are
pausing.
actually a lot of like loading, since this is kind of like an open world game to a certain degree. Once you're in this area, you are kind of free to go wherever uninterrupted constantly. So like there's no loading, but there are hidden loads in the game, specifically with elevators, which are we'll get to those.
Yeah, Capcom went for a very seamless, and successfully did so, a very seamless experience without any load screens. Because in theory, unless you retry or something, there really aren't load screens at all in this game, which is very impressive considering the scale of the game. And very unlike a Capcom game in that regard, or at least a Resident Evil game. But
yeah, I guess they kind of started with RE7.
Yeah, they started working in things like loads that they've tried to hide them before. Think of the doors in Resident Evil 1 and whatnot. But they really got seamless with it in this game and with 7 and whatnot. So, however, what that means is, and the reason we discovered this, and I'd like to shout out Spicy. One time, basically, I met Spicy through this game, and we traded off this specific category's record multiple times. And one time we were discussing how I was losing 7 seconds to him between a split where you don't do anything. And he,
oh yeah, you take an elevator.
and we were taking an elevator, and Spicy told me, he's like, hey, you're losing time to the elevator. And I'm like, are you implying that I'm riding an elevator incorrectly? Like, what does that mean? And we basically figured out that it was because I had bad hardware RNG, and I was loading very slowly on those elevators. So there's a resolution to it. It's called pausing on the elevators, but we don't do that in this run specifically because it's not RTA friendly. But it was very funny.
Yeah, and also it is allowed, obviously, for a speed run if you are doing runs for leaderboards to make everything as fair as possible. Another thing that we do for the leaderboards to make it as fair as possible is we have capped the FPS. Not so much because FPS inflicts more damage or anything like it does with the Resident Evil 2 Remake and 3 Remake. No, not 3 Remake, just 2 Remake, sorry. But more so because it affects different stuff in the game, like how fast the game kind of moves, I guess you can, to a certain degree, say, Z.
Yeah,
and like
it's
just capping it to 100 FPS, 120 makes it fair for everyone.
Yeah, the responsiveness of certain things like inventory, menuing, doing quite literally anything it does change depending on how high your FPS is. And this dates back to Resident Evil 7, and hell, you can even say for things like Resident Evil 6 or 5, which also I believe have FPS caps. So it really became something that was enforced after Resident Evil 2 Remake due to the shenanigans with the knife in that game. But yeah, what Nico said is correct. It's mostly just for runner fairness, because we don't want people pumping 700 FPS and having unfair like time saves that other runners simply wouldn't get. So, but now we're actually coming up on one of the biggest sections of the game. I would say the single biggest section of the game. This Resident Evil Village is very front loaded in terms of a run, and a lot of it happens here in Castle. But now we're out of the Lycan Siege. We kind of got ourselves set up with a lot of what we're going to need to progress through the game. So the castle is by far the most iconic part, and by far one of the most iconic characters in the game is this guy right here, and this is the Duke. We love this guy, but we don't get to talk to him very much, so we're going to leave.
No.
We get to see the Duke twice, basically, in terms of shopping and menuing. We routed this game down to only requiring 2 Duke stops, one halfway through the game and one at the very end of the game.
Which, for what we were doing early on during routing, is very, very impressive. Because we used to think that we needed... So, we basically used a lot of different weapons back then. We thought the sniper rifle was going to be the end-all, be-all. Turns out, it was just explosives all along. And, yeah, a lot of the sniper rifle stuff has actually been routed out now. Also, this scene is absolutely brutal, and we cannot skip it, sadly.
Yeah, this is one cutscene we can't skip. If you don't like, this game was very brutal to Ethan. Which just really bodes well to who he is as a character. It's pretty hardcore.
Specifically his hands, for whatever reason. Just
how come? Because I guess that's what... Yeah, they like hate his hands. I don't get it.
I think it's because first person is what you can see, so like it's kind of the only thing they can just keep mutilating.
It's pretty brutal.
Got the Ninja Turtle hands. It's crazy.
We're going to do a retry. We did one earlier. These retries are usually not very RTA friendly, but some of them change Ethan's position, which I'm used to doing. And some of them change enemy positions. So I'll do a couple retries, you'll see, but not very many. Because some, like I said, are very minimal time saves, and they only save time LRT. They don't save it RTA. So in terms of a marathon setting, not exactly ideal to do them. But now we are in the thick of it in the castle. So you guys remember... all the hype around this game, everyone loves Lady Dimitrescu. And all of this castle is building up to that fight with Lady D. And we have a very fun strap for her and all the stuff we get to do building up to her and whatnot. But we have to go through basically all 3 daughters, which are, Bella, Daniela, and Cassandra. These are the 3 daughters, and each of them have a little bit of a different fight. The very first one is probably the easiest of the 3. Not probably,
for sure.
100% is the easiest.
For sure, yeah.
And you'll see why. And a lot of that comes into the power. You'll see the power of the mines, and you'll also see the power of being at DA0.
Oh, yeah. It's also interesting because Lady Dimitrescu was actually, I remember during the trailers, kind of seen as like the main villain, because we had no idea who like the main villain was actually going to be. So everyone just assumed it was going to be the castle the entire game. The castle was going to be the main point of the game, the entirety. But when you're playing this game casually, you're actually out of here in the first, I would say, 20 to 25% of the game.
Yeah,
And
in terms of the
there's a
speed
lot of
run,
game left.
yeah, in terms of the speedrun, Castle makes up about 30% of it. Because of especially in glitchless. In any percent, they skip a lot of it because they go out of bounds. So we're gonna shoot this
they're cheating.
puzzle here. The solution
Not bad.
is to light both of those. Yeah, you can get really lucky and shoot the shotgun, and this thing will like go to the moon, and it'll fly around the room at like Mach 10, and it'll light both both of the lanterns pretty fast. So now we're going through the dungeon here. We need to grab a very important thing, which is a pipe bomb, which is going to be conveniently in this box right up here.
More explosives.
We're gonna go around these fellows. Excuse me, friends.
That'd be nice. Hopefully you don't get a little bit of DA from that guy's swing.
No DA. Amazing.
Nice.
Sometimes you'll RNG
So, yeah.
get some DA there.
Yeah, basically, if you make an enemy whiff an attack, you gain DA. So, wanna try to avoid that as much as possible. But yeah, this is the first fight.
Yeah, so we're doing the first fight right now. Don't blink, and it's over.
Nice.
We're gonna shoot her when she freezes, because it breaks her apart faster.
Yepers. And that was...
That's the
Cassandra?
power. No, that's, I want to say that was Bella.
All right. We'll say it's Bella.
I
think
know
you're
Cassandra
right,
is the last one.
She calls for Cassandra at some point, so it can't be her. You're right.
Yeah.
So that has to be Bella. You might have noticed that that Zeke shot Bella there at the end where she turned into a stone statue. That is actually faster. Once she crystallizes completely, if you shoot her at that point, you can exit the fight a little bit faster for whatever reason. We don't know if it's intended or not by Capcom. We're assuming it is, but we'll take it. It's like a 5 to 6 second time save every single time you fight a daughter.
Yeah.
And there are 3 of them.
And we don't need treasures from them, so we can just get moving. So I shot her there. You actually can't do any damage to the daughters unless you're doing them in their normal fight, where you basically let cold air into the room. The whole gimmick of the daughters is they're protected by bugs or bot flies. But the only way to really get around that is to blow like a hole in the wall to let cold air in, because cold air would kill the flies. However, shooting her there, normally you'd have to go around, but if you shoot them, they kind of disperse a little bit, and the daughter can't grab you when the flies are dispersed like that, so you can actually just run right through her there, and that's how we skip basically going around the daughter.
Yeah. Also, this puzzle, I actually kind of like this casually. It's like a small head scratcher, but not like a big one. I like puzzles like this.
Yeah. We're going to do a little line up here and wait for this to open. This is so we don't get caught on this gate, or rather this hole in the wall, or hole in the ground, sorry. I'm just going to drop down.
Hole in the wall.
What the hell?
All right. Now, this cellar's a little tricky. I have hit a couple shots. Hit that one.
Nice. Ooh. Nice. Second one is really hard.
Yeah, these guys are like in the water, and this is their first instance of going 30 FPS. We'll only do this a couple times, and a lot of it will be actually in the factory where we do that. But basically, let's just squeeze by some enemies, like that guy.
Yeah, if you're new to Resident Evil games since RE7, if you go to 30 FPS, you can basically just squeeze by certain enemies in very, very tight spots. Basically, the hurt boxes and hit boxes are bigger the higher FPS you have. So going to 30 just makes sense.
Yeah.
In tight corridors, obviously.
We got this key here, and now we get our first real run-in with Lady D. There she is. And she basically throws us down to this dungeon again, even though we just got out of the dungeon. We gotta go back down. Now we get the classic Resident Evil staple where we get disabled essentially, and we are not able to fight back. And the idea here is we have to get a gate open while avoiding Lady D. So unfortunately for Ethan, he is, of course, Ethan Winters in a Resident Evil game, which means we are going to lose our hand. And we're gonna kind of juke Lady D here to the left, get our hand back. Now she's gonna stare at us. We're gonna lock eyes with her. We're gonna kind of bring her around. We want to kind of loop her like we're playing Dead by Daylight.
There we go. Beautiful.
And now we're out of there.
Very nice. The first dodge you guys saw is actually a lot more difficult than it looks. It has like a very specific timing to it. You want her to lunge at a specific time because you want to be able to swerve around her like that. It's fairly difficult, requires a little bit of practice. Luckily, there's a really, really good retry, so you can definitely keep practicing it if you need to. But Zeke made it look effortless.
Definitely. Getting hit there kind of sucks because you get put in a crit and you're very slow and she'll catch you a lot faster. It's way harder on Village of Shadows difficulty because she's even faster.
Oh, yeah.
And there are enemies in that room. So thankfully we avoided all that problem. As you just saw, I went into my inventory. That'll be the only time I go into my inventory to actually adjust for space and make room for stuff. The reason I do that is I need to set my pipe bomb to be equipped and I need to move my shotgun because we are going to pick up the sniper rifle still. And not having the inventory space to do it is a nightmare. They really, in this game, made it very obtuse. If you try to pick up an item that you don't have room for, it will not automatically Tetris your inventory to allow it in. You have to kind of Tetris it yourself, which is very slow. So setting it up right there is optimal so that we don't have to worry about any of those issues.
Yeah. So if you're kind of wondering like what the story is at this point of the game, we haven't really moved that much. We are still just looking for Rose. I don't think it's been revealed yet, so I'm not going to say it if you don't know it. But yeah, basically we got captured by Heisenberg and Lady D and Moreau. And for some reason, we decided to run into the castle, even though we kind of knew that that was where Lady D was. But we are looking for a daughter, so it makes sense. We need to try to find her in there. And we're just making our way through each of the daughters, second one coming up here in a second, while trying to avoid Lady D, also known as a female, what's this called? What's he called, Mary Tuar? I can't remember.
Mr. X.
We'll just go with Nemesis. Yeah, Mr. X.
You really want to kill me?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, one of the... I got some spray on one of the shots.
You did. It happens. So, yeah. Optimally, that fight, she just staggers the entire fight, basically, and never gets a hit off. But Zeke was a little bit unlucky with the shotgun spread. Everything's fine. We're all good.
Probably the hardest boss of the game.
Yeah, we're also, in the meantime, picking up some masks, because we need these 4 masks to get to fight Lady Dimitrescu and basically get out of the castle. So you'll see the... I can't remember. How many have you picked up so far? 2?
I think I picked up 3.
I actually can't
remember.
I
picked up 2. Third one's up here.
2, okay. Right, so there's one up here, and then there's one on your way back, correct?
Yep.
The one that you did for the Belfort. Yeah.
Now we're coming up to the third daughter fight, and hopefully we don't miss any chocolate spread, because we want her to die.
Yep.
Any chocolate spread, because we want her to die in 4 shots.
Very nice. Your stream is extremely choppy for me on Discord. I don't know if it's that way on stream.
All right, we're back. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Hari Village classically is a game that has a lot of issues on the show, and you know what? I'm not surprised it happened again. But we should be back. Zeke, countdown whenever you're ready. I believe we should be back in business.
All right, yeah, so I'm going to do a retry here. We had to do one anyways. So 3, 2, 1, and start it. Now we're back in it. So unfortunately, like I said, historically, Resident Evil Village does have some problems. Let me take this part real quick. Where the performance of the game isn't incredibly optimized, and so we have some issues like this where it doesn't play well with OBS. Not the first time it's happened, and it certainly will not be the last. But if you missed it, we did just kill the last daughter. It wasn't a very eventful fight, I'll let you know that. Because of DA0, we were able to pump her straight down really, really fast. So that is the last daughter, and we're going to get our last masks now before we move out of the castle, move into the Lady D fight.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the only thing you basically missed is, like Zeke stated earlier, the daughters are very weak to cold. So we break open a wall with a pipe bomb, and then we just shoot her down with a shotgun, and that is basically all there is to the fight.
Yeah, it's very simple. But now we're getting a pretty important weapon we'll use for a little while here, which is the sniper rifle. Though it is the gun we use for a majority of the run, it is incredibly strong. It's not necessarily super broken, because we have some better weapons to use for that. Weapons, I mean explosives. So we're going to rock and roll with the sniper for a little while. It's going to play a pretty big part in Lady D coming up here shortly. But we're going to kind of run around the rooftops here.
Yeah.
And get the last mask.
If you are playing this game casually, however, highly recommend the sniper rifle as your main weapon for the bosses. It is incredibly powerful.
Yeah, it is the only weapon that we actually upgrade in the run, and we do barely any upgrades on it, and it's only for a specific boss. But yeah, it's super powerful. When you fully upgrade it, it is enormous.
It's crazy. It's like a semi-auto rifle. It's actually crazy. There we go. Okay. Fourth mask. I should be able to. Oh, this guy is.
Hey! What is going on, man?
He heard you were on the hotfix. He wants to join.
Yeah. There's a traffic jam up there.
Yeah, so specifically up there on the rooftops, you'll notice that Zeke actually was looking down mostly. That we feel like, I don't know if we're coping or not, we kind of feel like it de-aggroes the enemies a little bit, like they're not as aggressive to like start attacking us and stuff like that. You'll see something similar very much later on in the Chris section, where we'll actually look up instead. And right here, another little juke by Zeke. Very, very beautiful.
That one's hard.
That one is really difficult. You're kind of supposed to like run to the right instead and take a longer path, but you know, speedrunners, we like to live a little dangerously.
So we're gonna put all the masks in there, and we're gonna walk in here. This is basically gonna stop Lady D from beating us up while the door opens, because the door is opening out there. And we can kind of hear it, and I'm gonna skip now. Lady D's gonna be waiting right out here. It's right there.
You will learn what it means to
I love how non-threatening she is in the runs. It's just, she's just walking around talking trash, and you just don't care.
Yep. So now we're gonna do the Lady D fight. This is a very interesting fight. Took us a lot of time to figure out exactly how she works, but Nico, take it away.
All right, we're gonna pump one rifle shot straight to the body here. You'll see she has the weak point of her body. Zeke is gonna pick up the first aid here that he's gonna be using to drop his DA even further. But the way the Lady D fight works is we need to get her into this archway right here. She needs to get all the way to it and start her animation. Then we can start pumping a couple shots in, and then we'll take one hit to get our DA down a little bit more. She needs to drop down these two pillars before she can go to the next phase of the fight, but she also needs to be under a certain HP threshold. So Zeke has already met the HP threshold now, and she has two more thresholds that we need to meet. So we're picking up a bunch of extra stuff here, some sniper rifle, and I think a pipe bomb as well, if I'm not mistaken. And now here at a specific time, Zeke is going to throw two pipe bombs while guard canceling the second one. And then Lady D is going to fly out. She has reached her second threshold, and this is the third one. When we're hitting her in the air, it goes very, very fast. She is supposed to be like a 3-phase boss fight, but Zeke just played that perfectly, and now she's going to mess up her dialogue a little bit. As you see there, she swerves, starts a new dialogue, and that means she goes to the last phase of the fight. This part up here is basically a waiting zone. You need to wait for her to join you here in this little, I don't know what you want to call it, the watchtower or something. So she's just flying around there, talking trash once again, not really doing much. And once she lands in here, Zeke is going to pump, I think it's one rifle shot and two shotgun optimally, and she should be dead. But he needs to wait for her to say morsel here. There you go. And then 1 and 2, 3. It's 3. Sorry, it's not 2, it's 3. There you go. That is the fight. Beautifully executed, Zeke.
Thank you. You're the one. Lady D is a very on the surface, I guess it does look kind of complicated, but behind the scenes and figuring out how that fight works is insanely complicated. Like,
oh yeah.
Figuring out Lady D would have actually been a nightmare if it wasn't for the tools that we have. So a lot of shout outs to the people who helped develop our tools like BGR, Squirrelli's, Demented Salad, who helped make us things like the SRTs. Without the SRT, figuring out that fight would have been awful. because it was with the SRT that we learned that Lady D resets her health not once but twice during that fight. So figuring out a way to optimally set up our damage so that we can kill her at the right time, at the fastest possible time, super, super important. So having those helps a lot.
Yeah, big shout out to the tech part of the speedrunning community, just in general. They always come through with the most insane tools that we can use. It goes for like almost every large speedrun game, honestly.
Yeah, like very helpful.
Save tools. We even have the FOV tool in RE Village, which, you know, the base FOV was really bad. So someone actually made a FOV slider for the game, which is just amazing. Shout outs to Spicy for using like 105 FOV the first time I was watching his runs.
So
that guy's a lizard.
we are currently using the FOV mod, which is bringing us up to 90 FOV, because I believe base it's like 81, and then when you ADS it goes down to 70.
It's really bad.
So it's really bad, and the fact that it didn't have a slider with it is a borderline accessibility issue. So as a speedrun community, we were like, you know, obviously it's okay to use the FOV mod as long as it doesn't like break anything with the game, and it doesn't. It just looks really funky sometimes.
Oh yeah, you can like zoom out a lot with the FOV slider. It's really funny. But yeah, we are out here in the open area once again. Zeke's gonna interact with the door because that actually takes a little bit of time to open, and it even opens through this cutscene, so it's just faster to put in what is essentially the first part of Evelyn, or sorry, not Evelyn. Oh my god, I forgot her name. That's crazy, actually. Rose, thank you.
That's the whole reason we're here, Nico.
No. Oh my god.
Goodness.
So Rose is basically disassembled into 4 of those little marmalade jars. So that's the first one that we're going to pick up. You might have also noticed Zeke went for a very cool trick shot. That is actually another door that we're going to use later on, which is kind of a shortcut door. But we're actually going to be using it to just get to a new place instead, where there's a key item here. But first, we need to do a little bit of puzzling.
All these solutions are set. So we never have to actually guess or anything.
Yeah. Thank God that they're actually set. Also, very important pause buffer there. This guy was so much closer.
Why is he so close? This is a horror game. Man, that scared me. I'm just, God. Why was he there? That was so scary.
No.
Oh my
Something
goodness.
important to note is in that cabinet there's actually another handgun. But if you do the pause buffer and you stand in a specific place, you can pick up the jack handle without picking the handgun. You don't want to mash your confirm or pick up button there. If you do that, you accidentally pick up the handgun. You don't have room for it in your inventory. You will lose a lot of time to try to do that. Super important pick up here, the pipe bomb. It actually sets up our inventory beautifully. So now Zeke has it on his hotkey. So it just lines up very nicely. And we're going to drop down into this convenient hole, open the shortcut door to get out of here again, and get our second, I think, winged insignia key.
Yeah, this is basically the whole purpose of this is we kind of go building to building, and we grab different parts to a key. And the way we progress through the game is getting different parts off of bosses, and off the bosses we also get different parts of roads. So
map skip?
Yeah, we have what's called you call it map skip, you can call it map caching, whatever you want to call it. Basically, that map right there, the first time you launch the game, and I'm not saying like the first time you play it, but anytime you start up the game, and the first time you start playing it, that map will sit and stay open for 5 seconds. However, every other time after that, as long as the game is still running, it won't do that. We don't know why. We're not quite sure why that's either like a design flaw or what it may be. But basically, anytime you do a run, you have to go through, load a save, open up that map, and then you can start doing runs, or else you're going to lose 5 seconds every single time.
Yeah, it took us an embarrassingly long time to actually figure out why that was, because people would do runs, and sometimes they would just, it was always the first run of the day, but we just didn't notice that it was always the first run of the day. We would just be like, oh, I didn't get map skip, bad RNG. And then I think it was Spicy who said, guys, have you guys noticed it's always the first run of the day that happens? And then we realized, oh, we can just make a save file there, load that up, run up, get the map prompt, and then start a run. And we will never have it again. And now on theme with Mia, obviously, she makes us very slow because Mia.
Yeah, anytime we see Mia, we basically slow down. Ethan just do a crawl every game. The reason we can make that reference is because me and Nico are both Resident Evil 7 runners. In case you guys remember, I ran RE7 on this very channel a handful of times. And a lot of the times, we start off that game and we are standing behind Mia for like 15 minutes. So
it's so nice. I love
seeing it happen in this game, especially when we all first started running it. The moment I saw that I had to slow down because of Mia, flashbacks. Like, it was
right there.
It was really bad, but we kind of deal with it. So, tangentially, we talked about loads earlier. This is one of the elevators where there is a built-in load. Happens around like this part. You'll notice it because frames start to drop a little bit, and when frames drop, that means the game is trying to load. So normally, what we would do in the run is we would time pausing around those little frame drops, and that will let us know that we've hit the load trigger, and now we can stop pausing so the game can progress.
Yeah. You'll also notice the wall kind of like texturizes differently at specific points. It's really, really weird. It's not something you notice when you play it casually at all. You just think, oh, I'm taking an elevator. Nothing wrong with that. But when you're speedrunning it, you'll notice it a lot more. Small little restart there to get pushed forward a little bit. And here's one of my favorite techs that we found in this game. When you get into House Benevento here, the first time you get in, you'll actually be a lot slower. You cannot run basically at all. But if you just slightly go outside and then go in again really fast, you'll have outside movement speed, just like that. And you can actually keep this all the way almost up until the elevator. So I think this saves like, is it like 8 seconds or something insane like that?
It's something like that. We were so hopeful that we could figure out a way to make this last the whole time in Benevento, because you're talking minutes at that point, because we are so unbelievably slow in House Benevento. But, there's not much you can really do about it, unfortunately. House Benevento, I'll say, casually is a great experience. Like, this is where I think the game got really peak. Because this really embraced a lot of the horror and psychological aspects of the game, and really brought them out and showed them in like a really, really cool light. And a lot of it had a lot of emphasis on Mia and the mental illness behind like what happened with him and her and Ethan, and everything that happened with Resident Evil 7, and also with Rose. Super great, a lot of very good horror elements. And if you've seen the game before, you know the one I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it before, you're gonna see it later. Probably one of the scariest enemies we've ever seen in a Resident Evil game.
Yeah. Ironically enough, this part being the slowest of the game, it's actually also it actually also has one of the biggest skips for glitches, at least the baby skip, which we'll see very soon. Also, this date here is actually Mia and Ethan's wedding anniversary, so that just went by actually like a week ago.
Oh yeah,
so happy anniversary, I guess. 13 years.
Yeah, a lot of these solutions you're supposed to find out by doing a lot of things, like getting the ring, which has the anniversary inscribed in it, which will tell you the lock puzzle here, and then things will tell you to like take off the leg to get the key. But we already know all the solutions. Think about puzzles in this game like a regular game. You basically have to do them as fast as possible, which means your inputs have to be on point. One of them is this one here, where we kind of have to do a series of inputs pretty fast. Oh, it's that one.
There you go. Beautiful.
Basically, like, doing inputs as fast as possible on puzzles is a pretty big thing for Resident Evil games, just in general. As it is, I guess, in any game. But Resident Evil is obviously a survival horror franchise that has a lot of puzzles in it. So we've all had to get good at doing puzzles and inventorying just as fast as we possibly can.
Yeah. And like Zeke said, it's not just about being fast. It's about being, obviously, hitting the rhythm. Because there's like a certain rhythm to a lot of the puzzles where like you can't just be mashing all of the inputs that you know are correct very close there. You got the wrong input, by the way.
That was close,
There are two things you can look at there. There are the eyeballs and there is the mouth. And if you look at the eyeballs, he will take like 10 seconds to tell you, there's nothing here. It takes so long. It's crazy.
Resident Evil Village is the biggest offender in the department of, if you make a mistake, they really want you to feel bad about it. Like, they really do. They want you to sit there and think about it for so long. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just like that. There you go. This one is fairly simple. 2 to 4, 1 to 5. Lines up all the film very, very nicely.
Yeah, we're just sitting watching a movie.
Yep, The Ring, I think.
Yeah, we're watching The Ring. So 7 days, chat. 7 days.
It's over. And a little spooky crypt. Why are crypts always so or cribs always so spooky in like horror games? I think
It's
anything that
because-
just
it's
has to do with a
because
child.
Children are scary.
True, actually.
That is the message we're driving home. Happy Father's Day.
That was like
All
a
right.
Durex commercial. Anyway,
So we got the secret passage open. The whole purpose of what we're doing here is we need to get these scissors. There's that Mia mannequin you saw on the table there is something we basically the whole centerpiece of all the puzzles and what we need to do. So basically there's parts inside of the mannequin that we need to use to open doors, and one of them is coming up right here. But House Beneviento is a very point A to point B puzzle solution, very big escape room type deal. When we were first writing the game, this came pretty fast. This part got figured out nearly instantly because there's not really much to it outside of the skip that we're gonna see later with the baby.
yeah. That was like the only thing that we need to figure out was, do we have to inspect the things to put in the correct solutions? And once we figured out that wasn't the case, we're like, oh, okay, it's just fair game. We just run straight to like all the solutions and we should be fine.
Yeah, Resident Evil Village had a very interesting thing about it that the game before, Resident Evil 7, had that it doesn't, which is a lot of checks. So in Resident Evil 7, the game has a lot of checks to make sure that you're doing what you need to do in sequential order to beat the game. If you skip one, you can't finish the game because you'll get soft locked. This game doesn't really have much of that. It has some of it, but just not much. Meaning that you can almost skip the entirety of the castle if you go out of bounds. And a lot of the solutions, you can just skip to the end and put the solution in instead of having to find out what it is every time, which is, again, very different than its predecessor.
Yeah, it has some triggers that it wants you to hit. Specifically in, I think Factory has like a bunch of them related to like the keys and stuff like that you have to pick up. Because we do actually have out of bounds for Factory that you can see in any percent and stuff like that. But you just can't go to the end of it, unfortunately. Otherwise, we would be skipping like 20 minutes of the game or something, which would be amazing, obviously. But yeah, we are coming up to some baby noises, Zeke. What's the dealio?
So there's a baby in this house. So I think that's what we're trying to get at is there's just a child here. However, it's not just any ordinary child. There is a big Giga monster baby chasing us. You can't see it. You'll see it in a bit. Hopefully we don't die to it, because there is a very precise skip we have to do that is incredibly risky. Like, it is a guaranteed kill if you get touched. It's going to kick down that door behind us, but we're just going to kind of look this way and go through this door as we get ready for it. So this skip coming up here is called, the baby skip, the baby skip if you want to be a funny guy. This skip has been through a lot of different developments, a lot of different versions of it. The version I'm going to do is probably one of the more popular ones involving an FPS spot. Makes it a little bit safer, but it is incredibly risky. If I mess it up, I do apologize. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a lineup here, and I'm going to look at this here. There's a big gross baby right there. He's going to put his right foot at the bottom of the stairs, and I'm going to switch to 30 FPS. And now if I time this right, I have to move as soon as that left foot goes up.
That's good. Very nice.
And
So-
if you mess up that timing, you die.
Yeah, it is an instant one-shot. You go back to where you basically take out the fuse in that bedroom, and you have to do the skip all over again. But essentially, that saves, I think it's about 40 seconds to a minute or something like that. Insane. Because what the game actually wants you to do is go and play hide and seek under the bed or inside a closet, inside the bedroom, before the baby leaves. Also, do not turn around here and walk back to where the baby spawns in that hallway, because it will kill you instantly. You won't have time to reach this elevator, so don't ever do that. I found that out the hard way during the run. But yeah, that is a very, very important skip to learn if you're learning this run, because it will just automatically save you 40 seconds.
Yep.
Shout out to Lion being in chat, even though you got the baby skip, actually. That's insane.
Yeah.
That guy is cursed.
Yeah, the baby skip is a very nerve-wracking skip. It's very consistent. Once you put the time into it, it's usually not that bad. But it does suck a little bit, especially in early days of running, because it will kill your run a lot, which is a big pain. Speaking of run killers, this is probably one of the most frustrating ones, especially when you're pushing for world record. And I know, my fellow former record holder, Spicy, just like myself, have lost many runs to what we call R and G. So this is Angie. And what we have to do here, this first spawn point is always set. Angie is right here. The whole premise of RNG, as we call her, is that she's about to leave. And when she leaves, we have to find her. She can spawn in one of two places. If she spawns in the bad place both times, we lose about 15 seconds. Which this game is pretty optimized, so that is basically a dead run. So we're going to go downstairs, and we're going to go to the room on the right. And if we're lucky, she's in the close left area. If we are unlucky, she's straight ahead in the far area. So if we look here, she's in the far area. So that is a 5-second time loss. Not that big of a deal. This one's more like 4, but this next one is the big one.
The second one is the worst one. So hopefully she goes to the right here.
She did. That's
she did. Yep. Very nice. So she can also go to the left towards the elevator instead and be over there, which is like 8 seconds on top of the 4 seconds that he already lost. So very nice that he got the
RNG. So not too bad. You would take this in a normal run.
If you could consistently get this, you would get this. You would take this every single time.
Yeah.
Rather than coin flip, obviously. But this was Beneviento house, and here we actually figure out that it was Beneviento all along who was kind of making us hallucinate, which means the baby wasn't real, that doll wasn't real, and Beneviento was the main bad guy of this place.
Yeah. Donna Beneviento essentially harnessed the power of some flowers that are outside here, and we'll see them as we walk by them very briefly, but there are some flowers that essentially causes the hallucinations to happen. And Donna Beneviento isn't necessarily even a bad guy. Donna Beneviento was essentially using it as a way for people to, like, herself essentially to escape some trauma and some issues that she has. So that's kind of like the whole premise. And then Ethan kills her. So
it's he doesn't know that he's killing her. To be fair.
Yeah.
He thinks he's killing a doll. But that also goes back to why we were seeing Mia in the road up to Donna Beneviento's house. That is just hallucinations. So go figure.
As you can see, this elevator is taking longer going down than it did going up. It's because it is loading. It is worse on the way down. This isn't even the biggest offender of it. There is another elevator coming up actually at Moreau, which is so much worse. That's the elevator where I infamously lost like 7 seconds.
8 seconds or something.
Yeah.
It's also a little gravestone here, which is actually Donna Beneviento's husband, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, and that's also where the flowers are. Now that the flowers are all dead, that's because we're not hallucinating anymore.
Yeah. That's like a cute little side mission you can do to like pick up I think the other half of the gravestone. Ooh, didn't get door skip.
Put that door there. That's crazy. We got a mine there. That mine is very important. We're coming up on our first Duke stop. Now, this Duke stop is very important because it gives us some upgrades to our sniper, but one very, very important detail about the Duke is he restocks all of his stuff after every boss kill or every boss section, I would say. The biggest thing is that he restocks, he sells pipes and mines. We need 3 pipes and 3 mines for Moreau, and we have 1 pipe and 1 mine right now, so how convenient. He has exactly what we need. So we're going to go 30 FPS here and kind of step on this guy's head so he doesn't body block us.
Yeah, if you don't go 30 there, that guy will body block you, and you can't pass at all. You have to kind of shoot him, but also that kind of spawns in more bodies, so it's not even worth it. So just go 30. It's a lot better.
Does this look familiar to you? I've prepared
We're gonna go in here and sell a couple things, including our shotgun. Go to the gunsmithy, upgrade our sniper power twice. And we're gonna go here. We're gonna buy the pipe recipe, and we're gonna buy 2 mines, 2 pipes.
Yes, I have you.
Very nice inventory.
Good day then.
And
bye, Duke.
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing him later. But a little alpha lichen is actually gonna spawn here.
And we're just gonna go
absolute jeebus out of us.
Yeah, that guy is very scary.
Yeah, shoutouts to boss runners who get absolutely mauled by these alpha lichens every time they run here. They're just coin flipping, hoping they're not gonna get hit.
Uh-oh. He
Are you
aggroed.
coin flipping?
I don't know why he's aggroed on me, but okay, he left. Sometimes it's a little aggro on you super early. You can get really, really, really unlucky, and because I think they have some little bit of RNG to where they actually spawn after you escape that first one, and sometimes he can get really, really close to you and even hit you, and they put you into this really weird stagger animation where he eats you, but it doesn't do any damage, so it's very strange.
It just loses you time, which is always a super fun time as a speedrunner.
Yeah, we love that.
And here we go. The beautiful elevator.
Yeah, so this elevator is, if you watch a console runner run this game, it is, this thing is, it takes about 5 to 7 business days to get to the bottom of the, where we need to go. It's really, really bad here. You can see the frames dropping there. Those frames, unlike the technical difficulties earlier, these are actually on purpose. They're letting you know that the game is loading. There's nothing we can do. These reused assets just go up over and over until we get down here. Actually had a good load there. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Only 2.
Yeah. But that's the elevator where you just lose a bunch of time. You just melt it away.
Yeah. Luckily, you can pause, so the game is basically loading in the background while that is happening. So there is a way around it to make it more fair for all console runners who run on the same board. For console, obviously, they're not going to be running against PC. That would be absolutely terrifying. Could you imagine a board like that? That would be so bad.
Yeah. Historically, Resident Evil games split up PC and console. Due to the fact that loads are typically generally unfair, and inventorying a lot of stuff is very unfair. If you were to have
aiming is unfair.
But now we're in the Moreau area. We're now in Moreau's reservoir, and basically what's happening is Moreau is big Miranda fan. That guy is actually Miranda fan number 1.
Oh yeah.
He is upset at us because we're trying to stop her, so he basically mutated himself, turned into a big ol' fishbowl. So we're gonna grab this key and we're going to get out of here if I go the right direction.
You got it.
Moreau, this whole area is very cool. The Moreau fight was probably one of the more weird fights because he has this very strange interaction about him where we still never really figured out to this day. It's not exactly super relevant to what we do here, but if you hit Moreau with a pipe bomb, for some reason, sometimes he takes like 300% damage and almost gets one shot. We don't know what causes that, but we do have a strat built around using mines and pipes that, if executed correctly, you kill Moreau before he ever transitions. So once we get to him, we'll show you what that looks like. But we're going on a little bit of a boat ride here.
Yeah. Moreau is kind of an interesting character in the way that he loves Miranda so much that he just wants to prove that he is worthy of anything, basically, like any sort of love from her. But he's also very, very misunderstood in the fact that no one really likes him, except for Miranda. She's the only one who actually thinks that he has a little bit of purpose. But this cutscene here is going to be interesting.
We're going to let this cutscene play a little bit because I'm a big fan of this cutscene. Because we saw Chris as Rose, right, as the baby. What does that mean that we might have a different aspect of this now? I guess we'll find out in just a moment.
Just a slightly different one.
Stay the fuck down! Ethan! I gotta say, I'm surprised you made it. It'd be a shame if something happened to you now. Sure, Chris.
So we have here Baby Rose as Chris Redfield. And it is by far one of the greatest mods I've ever seen.
We should move on.
Oh, buff Rose.
It's so good. Basically what's happened now is...
That mod was like one of the first mods that got made for this game, by the way.
Oh yeah, I think that was like day 1 or 2 that mod got made.
It was insane.
Super funny. Gonna do another reload here. Basically what's happening now is Moreau is kind of a upsetty spaghetti and he's kind of destroying the whole place. And what we have to do is power on some windmills, apparently, and basically open the dam to get him out of here. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna run up and around and go on a little adventure here to get Moreau into the next arena so we can actually fight him. And that's these guys right here. So we basically need to go all the way around and across and get a crank in true Resident Evil style. The most convoluted and complicated way to get a crank. And then we use it to kill a big enemy.
There is actually a crank on the windmill already, but that one breaks if you interact with it, so it's just better to not interact with it, and it will just magically disappear when you get up with the other crank. Moreau will make a little bit of... Oh, that looked weird. He will make a little bit of appearances here and there during this part. As long as you're just holding Shift W here, you will never get hit. So just hold forward, and you'll be fine. There are certain spots, obviously, you have to do something different. But yeah.
Moreau is a one-shot mechanic. If you get caught on any bridge or platform and he goes through it and you're on it, you will die.
Yep. You couldn't pay me enough to use this, by the way.
Yeah, this thing's gotta smell so bad. Do another retry here. This is gonna bring the bridge up right away, so we don't have to wait for it. We're gonna turn around and go over this. Now these levers are on a very strict timer. If I mess up these levers here, I will die.
It is a one-shot, unfortunately. There was one person who actually...
That's crazy. We're gonna take this slow because Ethan brought us high heels today.
What is going on? All right, here we go. Uh-oh.
I need to hit all three here.
Yeah, you need to hit all. You got this.
Can we please? Yeah, unfortunately, that sucked. What happened was, Ethan, there's some weird movement mechanic that is broken in this game for some reason, and we don't know why, where Ethan will just trip. Like, as you see, I kind of tripped going across those, and I could not lose any time at all going across those, or else Ethan will fall in the water and die. So I had to stop and do that very slow. It's either that or we die and we get set all the way back, so there's no reason to risk it. But unfortunately, kind of automatic control there. Like,
yeah.
Ethan tripping once is manageable, but tripping twice is not manageable.
No. It's also like, it kind of looks like he's like taking a step up or something sometimes when he does it. Like sometimes it's like taking a step or it looks like he's tripping. We don't understand what's going on completely. But yeah, that is also why you might see Zeke going up sideways up some stairs, is to kind of make sure that that doesn't happen ever.
Yeah.
And here, the true dad pun.
Caught myself a big one.
Good one, Ethan.
Banger.
Ethan has a lot of one-liners in this one, and they are just as bad as the one in Scenario 7.
Yeah. I'm not sure why. Nice shot. That one is, can seem pretty easy, but you definitely need to make sure you hit that lock, otherwise you just lose time for fun. And at this point, Moreau is really, really upsetting Spaghetti. He is smacking everything you're standing on. And Zeke needs to hit this trigger over here to make sure that the game tells him that he can't climb, even though he could have just put in the crank, but, you know.
Yeah, we had to go look at it first, though. They make us do it, which doesn't really make sense.
Nope.
That's kind of like what I was talking about with force triggers earlier, and certain things that it makes you do to be able to progress the game. Okay.
That's really unfortunate. That probably has to do something with the bridge. So yeah, this is like on a global timer, this windmill ladder, and because the bridge went the way it did, it was like a little bit scuffed. But it's fine, we're fine.
All right. And now we're actually approaching the final part of the Moreau section, including the Moreau boss fight. This all kind of comes to a close here with one fight. If I do this fight correctly, ideally we just want second Moreau. We have no problems with it. But it's kind of strict on what I have to do, which involves what's called block canceling. You heard Nico mention it earlier. Block canceling is essentially where I throw a pipe or put a mine down and I cancel the animation with a block, which lets us get really strict timings in that we need to hit, especially later for a boss called Sturm. It's incredibly important that I hit these block cancels. So hopefully we don't have any issues.
Yeah, and like Zeke said, resources are very limited for him here, so if he does mess up, he does have to do a retry. He's basically going to use everything he has, explosive-wise, mines and pipe bombs, and even a rifle shot as well. And we can also look at the insides of Moreau here. We get shoved around a little bit, but we took a good line, so we don't get shoved around crazy. And yeah, you want to take this?
Yep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this first pipe. It's super important that I do it right about here. We're going to move forward. Nice. I'm going to do cancel. We're going to equip these here. Put them down right here. One sniper. That's the fight.
Big clappers. That was really, really good. So yeah, you basically hardly even see Moreau. The most important, there are two really, really important parts about this fight. The first one is throwing the pipe bomb and making him enter the fight, and the pipe bomb being in a good enough position that you actually stagger him as soon as he gets into the fight. Second really important part is the mines and guard canceling or block canceling instantly after you put them down. And yeah, that's just as easy as that. It takes a long time to get that fight down if you're a new player, because the positioning of the mines have to be very, very specific, and the positioning of the first pipe bomb you're throwing has to be very, very specific.
Yeah, the hardest part about that fight, I would say, is the first pipe bomb. Because if you mess it up, it has a very precise place where it needs to be, because it needs to hit Moreau before he rounds that corner, because he needs to be still around that corner a bit, because there's a barrel behind him that we're hitting with the pipes. And you can't also hit yourself with it, right? So, which is very easy to do, because mines can't hit you, but pipe bombs can definitely hit you. So that's where that fight becomes a little bit more difficult. But once you get that down, then the rest of it's pretty easy to understand.
Piggy almost running into you.
That problem.
And, coming up on this road here, we're actually going to be faced with like one of the biggest roadblocks of this game, I would say, personally. But first, we are going to pick up the grenade launcher, which is my favorite weapon of the village game. I feel like it's insanely broken when you're playing casually. It does an absurd amount of damage, has utility as well with the flash bangs and stuff like that. And yeah, overall, I just love this weapon. Oh, didn't get the door skip again.
Possible. It's crazy.
Washed.
Yeah, that door is too strong. All right, so we got a goat here.
Biggest roadblock in the game. Oh, he's being nice. They're both being nice.
I wasn't.
No, you were not. You actually got such good RNG, and you still killed him. That's so mean.
When they run in front of you, you have to shoot them. But if they go away, then it's fine. But if they're in front of you and you get near them, the goats will turn, and they hate Ethan Winters. I don't know what they heard, but it is not good stuff, because they turn and they just throw hands.
Yeah, they basically just bum rush you, and they will smack you around. If they both start hitting you, it is terrible.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
But now we're coming up on Stronghold, which is a very, very interesting place. It's basically where all the Lycans chill.
Yeah, it's where they hang out.
Like that. Yeah.
This is the Lycan man cave, essentially. It's where they all kind of vibe with their boy Urias. The Stronghold's a really cool area, and I like it aesthetically. My only problem with it is it doesn't actually last very long. You'll see what I'm talking about here with it. The longest part of it is basically this part right here. But we're going to go up here and hit a couple of levers. The whole idea of this is the levers start a timer to open up the gate, but there's a bunch of Lycans, you got to be careful. If we're lucky, the Lycans won't bother us, and I would say we won't bother them, but that's not the case. I'm going to blow up some barrels. But ideally, they don't touch us, so we can get to what we need to go to. But if a Lycan hits you or grabs you here, you're waiting for the gate to open anyways, so not really too detrimental.
Yeah. Something we should probably also mention is the whole reason we did the DA thing, it was actually specifically the DA and Moreau. Moreau would not die in that in all of those explosives if we did not have our DA 0. So him prepping his difficulty adjustment as he did in the beginning of the game made the one shot basically possible and saves so much time. So now DA doesn't matter anymore, luckily, because I think you're capped at this point, if I'm not mistaken.
We're at 1,300 right now, and the cap is 1999.
Okay.
However, the thing about, or it's 2099. I'm not sure if it goes all the way to DA2 or not, but
I don't think it does. I think it stays at 1.
We did theorize being DA04 Urias. It's just it is possible, especially in that area right there. It's just not really worth figuring out, because we realized that Urias is actually a very complicated fight. In terms of doing him as fast as possible, because he has a lot of very weird phasing mechanics to him. But thankfully, and I'm happy that I was able to figure it out, but I made a strat for Urias that is still used today that basically circumvents Urias's cheesy little stagger phases, where we utilize shooting him in places that won't stagger him right away. So we want to do mostly headshots, because that's where most of the damage is going to come from. But we do a couple shots that avoid shooting him in the head, so that we can time his staggers to pull him down really fast. So you'll see what that looks like here in a minute once we get to him.
Yeah, to make it very, very simple, the basic strat is just, I think, head, body, head, head, which is just what you rinse and repeat twice, and you'll see that in a second. First, though, the only contribution I had to the speedrun, this strat right here. You just tap A instead of holding it, and you will go a little bit faster through this wall.
It's actually very fast. Like, it's a lot faster. Because otherwise, we hold it like this, and you see Ethan kind of stops. But otherwise, tapping it is a lot faster, because it kind of kills that ending momentum slowdown. So we're gonna go through here. We're gonna grab this stuff I need. And now what we're gonna do is, like Nico said, it's gonna be head, body, head, head, and we're gonna do that twice. And then we're gonna force your eyes to come down, hopefully interrupting his shouting, which stops him from phasing.
The first shot does hit. The second one is like the most difficult one on the body. Hopefully that one hit. And 2 more in the head. And then we're gonna do reloads. It's gonna be screaming, head, and then we need to hit the body. That did hit. We saw the blood splatter. 2 headshots again. Interrupts the roar. Very, very good. Do the roar as Shrek. And then we just do headshots until he jumps down. Very nice. He got 3 off. He's gonna miss the swing here. And he should be dead momentarily.
Oh, that missed.
That was really unlucky, but
I
you know,
think
we got there.
that sniper shot somehow missed his head, but yeah.
Yeah, apparently one of them missed. That's crazy. Well, he's still dead. You might have lost like maybe 2 seconds or something, but in essence, that is how the fight looks. He doesn't do anything. The mobs don't spawn. And most importantly, we got the 3rd flask. We got the second one after fighting... no, sorry, we got the 4th one? The 4th one.
The second one...
second one we got a
fighting,
Donna.
Yeah, from Donna. The 3rd one from fighting Moreau. And then
4th one here. So we basically have all the things we need. And obviously... as you do with your child, if it's in 4 different containers, you got to put it in a giant chalice. See, that's
that's actually how it works. That's actually where babies come from. Is you take 4 parts.
Oh, you're drifting.
And we are drifting. Also, that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why it does that.
It's
no
just faster.
reason at all. One of my favorite memories is when I was first writing this game. Is I was streaming it and I got to that part right there where the boat did that little 180. And right as it did it, my computer blue screened.
Oh yeah.
In the middle of stream, and so I was convinced that if your boat 180's there, your computer will blue screen. So I was terrified anytime it happened, and it happens a lot.
Oh yeah.
It didn't cause the blue screen. Resident Evil Village, as you saw earlier, is a very unstable game, so it just kind of blue screened on its own. But it is always a very funny thing that we see sometimes.
Yeah, it made me super scared of that as well, because I streamed like a day after Zeke, and it happened to me as well. Not the blue screen, but the drifting, and I was screaming. I was terrified my computer was going to blow up or something.
It's a curse.
It is, but all the flasks in the giant chalice. Now we have a baby, right?
There it is. Yeah,
oh,
that
okay.
is where they come from.
So
you're welcome for the education chat on where babies come from. Thank you, Ethan Winters, for showing us that. We're putting 4 pieces of a. Here's the thing, and I'm going to critique. Far be it from me from critiquing Capcom, but I would say that in terms of the logic and story department, I think that if I found out that my child was separated into anything more than 1 part, I'd probably be like, yeah, it's over. I don't know if there's any coming back from that one, Ethan.
Yeah, well, we'll see, because he's going to put the giant chalice here, and for some reason, we're just going to leave this giant chalice, by the way. We're just going to put it here, and we're going to go meet Heisenberg, talk to our buddy.
Which, by the way, by far my favorite Lord. Heisenberg is so cool.
He is, if that's not your favorite Lord, I don't know what you're doing.
I would say there's some merit
actor.
to Lady D.
Yeah, I guess. I can see that. That's fair. But most importantly, Heisenberg, same voice actor as Asterion. So I'm just gonna put that one out there for anyone that doesn't know. You'll notice it. You'll notice it immediately now when he starts talking. So I'm gonna be quiet.
Don't worry about the kid, Ethan. It'll be fine. Ha! Just get your ass across the bridge.
It's such a iconic character in this game, in my opinion. I'm actually disappointed that Heisenberg didn't get more screen time and more like action in the game, because he's a fantastic character.
Oh yeah.
Another like voice actor fun fact is Moreau in this game is also the same voice actor that played Lucas in Resident Evil 7, which is crazy if you think about those 2 characters.
It's pretty nuts. Nice, a little bit of extra gunpowder, just to make sure we have what we need, because we are actually going to be crafting a little bit in this game.
Yeah, we don't craft very much, or we actually don't craft really at all in casual. but we need to for a fight later, and probably what I would consider to be the most complicated fight, and has probably one of the most toxic strats, which I'm very proud to admit that I created. It involves killing Sturm, which is the last boss of the factory before Heisenberg, in a very explosive matter. And it is super difficult because if you make a single mistake, you have to retry it because it just goes off the rails.
Oh, yeah. This is also a very, very specific part of the game. You'll see Zeke try to angle his climb up animations in a specific manner and also does like a crouch at one of them. It just has terrible interactions for whatever reason. If you're like straight on some of these ledges, Ethan refuses to climb them and we don't know why. So you have to kind of find out specifically where to go. I remember I got stuck here casually because I didn't think I could climb one of them because Ethan just refused because I was head on with it. It made zero sense. I was very upset.
Yeah, the interactions in this one are really bad. I notoriously have a history of very much disliking the way interactions work in Resident Evil games, specifically climbing ledges. There's something about climbing ledges that Capcom can't seem to quite get right. I don't know. I've climbed a ledge before in my life. I'm sure Nico has climbed up a ledge in his life. Surely someone at Capcom has also climbed up a ledge in their life. I have faith that one day they will figure it out, that you can, in fact, make your character climb a ledge without it being like I'm solving the Da Vinci Code.
Maybe an RE9. We'll see.
Do a collateral shot there to get rid of those guys.
Line up a collateral with the sniper to get both of them. That we do have to come through here again later on, so it just makes sense to try to shoot them instead of trying to 30 FPS past them, because they will body block you. They're spread out very, very nicely to body block you. And now we're going to be going on quite the treasure hunt here in Factory. If you loved ship in RE7, you're gonna love Factory. This is just better ship, actually.
Yeah, it's Factory had this problem that some people might have casually, is it's a very confusing area. And this is really just not really a fault of the design of the area. It's mostly because you have to go back and forth through the same places over and over. So it gets a little confusing on where you are and where you've been. So that's like the biggest problem with Factory, right? So we have to go through the same areas like 4 times, specifically coming back to this area. So we're going to get our first mold here. We need to grab these molds to make keys to get through to the next areas. The relief mold is the first one, and then we're going to make a cog mold, and then we're going to get a key. Right now, we're going to go ahead and put this in, and when we do this, we're going to use the downtime, because it has to take time to make it, make that what we need. So we're going to kill a couple enemies here, and we're going to hope for some RNG. That's not it.
Darn.
We need is a strong word. Optimally, we would like to see, a 2-drop of explosive rounds for our grenade launcher. If we get that, then that's great, because that's going to make the last boss fight easier and faster. Otherwise, we'll have to grab one that's guaranteed, but out of the way at the end of the game, which loses a little bit of time. Almost forgot about this fella.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 seconds extra. So if we could pick it up on the way where we don't have to lose time for it, that would be optimal, obviously. So this place here, welcome to Disney World or something. I don't know. This ride is crazy. You need to line up these shots and make sure that they don't hit you. If they do start hitting you, they can like constantly smack you over and over again. So the cycle is determined on a global timer, but depending on what happens, stuff like that, it can be a little bit wonky. And Zeke does get hit here, but he is on the other side. Luckily, he didn't get stuck in the middle, so he's fine. He's not gonna get completely pummeled.
Yeah, those things are so rough, because not only can they hit you on the way down, but for some reason they can hit you on the way up. So if you get hit and it goes back up, you'll get hit again, and it doesn't really make any sense at all. And like, not even just Ethan, but the other enemies will also get beat up, so everyone's confused. No one really knows why. But that room is like a horrible, like, notorious time loss room, because you'll go in there and just get absolutely destroyed.
It's a bad time if you start getting hit there at a bad point. So anyways, we got a little bit more of these red lights that we have to take care of, and there is going to be the second mold in this here big briefcase, and now we can go and make that as well. And that is the cog mold, if I'm not mistaken, which we're going to be putting into another machine, which is right behind us. So you can see everything is kind of close by. We don't really need to go up and down levels just yet. We will have to do that later. But this is the confusing part. It's a lot of backtracking. It's a lot of like finding these small, shortcut doors constantly to try to make sure that you don't have to run all the way around the level. And it's a lot of not getting hit by enemies as well at the same time. Also, you can kind of run away from this cog for some reason, and
you get pulled right back in.
It's so weird.
Yeah, this is where the factory kind of blows up a little bit, because now the grenade launcher comes in handy here, because we're going to have to blow up 5 lights on doors, and the grenade launcher will actually take them all out by itself in one shot, assuming we don't miss. But we don't miss here, guys. Sorry.
You never missed.
We never miss. So we're going to go around this corner, and we're going to shoot right here, and that's going to hit
guy
all
just
the lights.
spawned in.
Yeah, he usually he just dropped right in. So that's the first one. Picked up a mine there. The mine is also very important. Now we're gonna hit. This one's a little bit trickier.
Not really, apparently.
Get all those lights in the door. We don't really know if you hit them all until you get here. That's the worst
you're
part
kind of
about
just
it.
praying.
There we go.
Go, beautiful. And now we hit this button here. The slowest elevator of all time is gonna come down.
And this whole time, Iceberg's kind of talking, and Ethan's just straight up donut-walling him, completely ignoring him.
To be fair, Ethan doesn't know if he has a micro, or like, if he can hear him.
Yeah, it's true. We're gonna shoot one more here.
But yeah, there's just a bunch of lore about how Heisenberg actually hates Miranda, because he doesn't feel like she is the all-being that she claims that she is. So he kind of is trying to make this whole metal army to try to become the biggest lord himself. So he's actually saying that, all right, you can have Rose, but the only way to have her is to team up with me, and we can kill Miranda together. I can become all-powerful. You can get your daughter back. Ethan doesn't want that. He just wants his daughter. He doesn't care about any of this power tripping. So he's just kind of, like Zeke said, donut-walling Heisenberg and saying, I'll just do it without your help. And then Heisenberg gets mad.
A lot of what Heisenberg's big problem is because Miranda turned these people, like Lady D, Donna Benaviento, Moreau, and Heisenberg into the lords that they are against their will. So a lot of the powers, but the powers they have come from Miranda's use of the Megamycete and the Mutamycete to essentially give them powers, but not as strong as her. For all, intents and purposes, Miranda's kind of like I'm not going to say a god in terms of like the powers that she has, but she's nearly immortal. Yeah, she's been around for many, like hundreds of years, basically.
Oh, yeah.
The whole lore of this game is Resident Evil all started with Miranda.
Yeah. If you haven't played this game casually, you definitely should. It goes on sale quite often during Capcom sales on Steam. Highly recommend picking it up. It's a really, really fun time casually.
This room is awful, by the way, because now we're about to find out whether or not I'm lucky, because 2 fellas want to come up here, and if I can get on the... Please, let me up. Up.
Uppies!
Please!
Please, uppies!
Just on the ladder, Ethan! It's just the worst, man. He just has to climb ladders, ledges, bro. They just don't get it. I'm telling you. They just don't get it.
It's okay. Everything is fine. But yeah, basically you saw Zeke there guarding a lot. If he didn't do that, there was going to be like a 10 to 12 second long cutscene of him getting drilled by those thingies. I don't know what to call them even. They kind of have jetpacks and they just fly with like drill hands.
Yeah, they're like soldats basically, but they essentially hit you with like this Mortal Kombat finisher that takes forever to end. It doesn't do really any damage, it just takes forever.
Yeah, this game is very cinematic. If you ever do get grab hit, you will have to watch like a lengthy cutscene to get hit. It looks cool though.
But we are actually approaching the end of the factory, because the whole mission of the factory is you go point A to point B, get a whole bunch of stuff, avoid a whole bunch of enemies. Granted, we still have, the ending part of the factory is very backloaded, where we have to do a boss fight and we have to go through a whole lot of armored soldats, which are kind of a pain. But if we do move it correctly, hopefully it won't be any problem. And we would still like to see a grenade launcher drop, if we're lucky.
Yeah, there is going to be a guaranteed one coming up, which we already had routed in. But then there is one box, I think, left where there could be a grenade launcher drop. Hopefully that one is in there. You've had a lot of handgun ammo drops, I noticed, like 3 or 4 of them.
We didn't want to have any situations where we're out of ammo, which I did have happen in practice because I forgot to pick up any ammo. But so if we're lucky, this box up here has explosive rounds. If he doesn't have explosive rounds, then unlucky. We got to take a little bit of a time loss, but really not that big of a deal.
Oh no.
See your kid's power.
Take Rose?
And this is really funny.
I'd like to see you try.
Ethan says, I'd like to see you try to take Rose, and he already has, so I don't really understand where that's coming from.
Yeah, it's kind of bold, you know? You currently don't have your daughter. But to say something like that is you know, you gotta respect the tenacity of Ethan Winters. He is Dad of the Year in 2021 for sure. I think he wins that hands down.
100%. No doubt. We also haven't really seen Heisenberg, so if you haven't seen Heisenberg at all, what you're about to see is not how he actually looks at all. Just know that. This is like a mutated Heisenberg you're about to see in a second. And he's basically, think of Magneto. He can control a lot of metal for whatever reason. I don't really understand why. It just like kind of is a power he has, I feel like. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with the Mutamycete. I don't think it does.
It is his ability to control metal, like that power comes from you know, the mold powers that was given to him. I don't know what causes them to manifest in the way that they do, like why Lady D is basically like an immortal vampire who can turn into
It's because they become matched.
Yeah.
So you have to transform. That's just the law.
That is how it works.
If you become mad enough, you will also become, you know, I don't know, Super Saiyan or something.
A Dark Souls boss.
Yeah. There'll just be random music playing.
Sure.
All right. I was gonna say, does he want to die today? Or
Am I playing on boss? Like, what's going on here? Everyone's so tanky all of a sudden. It's not because I'm missing, which you get that thought out of your head, guys. I don't miss. All right?
don't miss.
The game
Bold
just
of you not
lags
to pick up that
sometimes.
safety heal, but okay.
We win these.
Okay.
If I hit this crouch.
Easy game. So these guys are incredibly tanky that you just saw, the guys from Fallout 5. Another one is going to come up here in a second and be very, very annoying. What we're going to do is we're going to go to 30, obviously, because he's blocking our path. He's going to try to hit us. We're going to block, and then we're just going to squeeze right by him, just like that. And apparently Zeke has found consistency. We're going to the right instead. That seems to be a little bit better.
Yeah,
in practice, he got stuck for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, those guys are kind of a pain. An easy way to get around them is to shoot a grenade launcher shot if you had extras, because it basically removes all their armor and stuns them. But obviously we didn't get to do that. We kind of have to hold on to these. We need these. But now we're coming up on, like I said, I would consider to be the hardest fight in the game, which is Sturm. He is a very easy way to lose a lot of time.
Oh yeah, he is. He's definitely difficult if you're trying to go for world record, because you need to do these pipe bomb cancels insanely fast. I don't know if Zeke is going to go for that or if he's going to go for like a little bit safer, take his time. But I think he's going to go for the swag strat. And
We're going to go for, we're going fast. Yeah, we're going real fast.
All right.
So we're going to crouch here. 2, 3. And now we're going to go in here. We're going to craft 3 pipes. Put these.
Very nice. That is Sturm dead.
And we are also almost dead, but it's okay.
That's fine. Or there's a mine there?
Yep, that is the mine we need.
I didn't know about that mine, I'm not going to lie. It's been a hot minute since I've ran this game.
Yeah, that strat is very risky because you have to get the pipes behind Sturm or else they won't hit his weak point, he won't die. And if he doesn't die, you're better off just retrying because at that point, he's real pissed. And he's going to basically run around the room on fire and it makes that fight a nightmare. So doing it that way with the 3 mines and the 3 pipes is very, very fast. But like I said, if you make even a single mistake, you will probably die.
Yep.
Because you're basically hitting yourself with all 3 pipes.
Oh yeah, he becomes super upset and like starts blowing fire everywhere through his turbine thingy. It becomes a hell of a fight all of a sudden. It's crazy.
We're gonna get one more good look at someone here.
Is he here? Yeah, he is here. That's a rat, Ethan.
I told you to leave it alone, Ethan.
Milk teeth.
It's so good.
Oh god.
And now a staple in every Resident Evil game, as you guys all have guessed, is the Transformers part where we basically become a robot.
I'm coming, Rose.
Can you name one other game where this happens?
You know, there's one somewhere.
Fair enough, fair enough. I guess RE6 had a helicopter. That counts.
Can I get one of them?
No. Did they patch it?
No, you can get them still, right? There's no way. You can shoot off those soldats off. I got one in practice before, but... so this fight is actually a potential big time loss if done incorrectly. I'm going to go 30 FPS here to break open this gate, but if you want to explain why it's important I do what I'm about to do, Nico, that would be great.
Sure thing. So first of all, he's going to go 30, so he doesn't push back as far when he's doing this blow-up animation. Then he's going to go back to 120 to get stable FPS and have the fight nice. He's going to restart the fight right here so that Heisenberg is already spawned in and he gets his rocket launcher back. He did get the good RNG where Heisenberg lifts up his left arm that exposes the weak point under him very nicely. He's going to get the 2 weak points on the right side from where Ethan is looking and the left side afterwards with the rocket launcher. Now he's going to try to get Heisenberg in a position where he will go to phase 2. He's going to shoot the last weak point here after the shields are not blocking anymore. There you go. And when he says the clock is ticking, just like he did right now, he should be kind of in a decent spot. He shouldn't be walking too much.
Look how
yeah, you can see how slowly he's walking because he was so close to like the final spot actually. But yeah, now we go
a little too fast. If I just maybe waited a millisecond, he would have been in the right spot. But that loses so much time when he's not in the right spot. But otherwise, that was a pretty good fight.
That was very, very, very good. But yeah, that's like phase 1 of the fight. Now you have to fight him on foot. This is why the pipe bombs are very, very important with the inventory setup that he did. So he is going to throw, I think, 3 pipe bombs, if I'm not mistaken. 2, sorry. 2, and then he's going to throw the last one right here because the last one would explode in mid-air. Use the grenade launcher, and that is Heisenberg effectively dead. Now we're going to pick up a little bit of resources here and there. Explosive rounds over here, very nice, exactly what we need. And we are going to be lifted up into the air now. We get the sniper rifle as well, a little bit of ammo, and then we get shoved back. And FPS might be a little bit stuttery here. It sometimes is, sometimes isn't. Depends on.
They made it a lot better.
They made it a lot better with the recent patches.
This used to be like you go from 120 down to like 15. Your OBS would have like an aneurysm, and it would be really, really bad. But thankfully, they fixed it. They implemented a lot of good performance patches to correct this problem.
They did. And this is Heisenberg's funeral. I almost timed that perfectly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is Heisenberg dead. And we get a little bit of treasure from it. And now, story-wise, lore-wise, what actually happens is Ethan gets absolutely stabbed by Miranda. She's going to turn up out of nowhere. And she's actually going to surprise us and say that she was here all along and was kind of, you know, watching us, I guess, to a degree. And then she kills Ethan. So now that Ethan is dead, what are we going to do, Zeke?
Call of Duty. So basically, we are now at another. I would say it's unusual for a single game, but this does change the pace of the game a bit. Where we play as Chris Redfield, Rose Redfield, and the thing is here is we have a lot of munitions. We got grenades, we got assault rifles, we got so much ammo to run around and blast. But we have to do this in a specific way to make sure we do it as fast as possible. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to walk up and trigger this cutscene, which is going to basically start our little gauntlet where we have to run all the way to the other, I guess, gauntlet. Oh, we're going over there. It's the big Megamind scene.
Yes.
So I'm going to look to the sky because what you can't see can't hurt you. That is the rule. Yeah, that's how it works. So these Lycans are confused because they're like, why is this guy looking at the sky? So they throw a grenade there to get rid of those two.
They're also looking at this guy. That's canonically what happens.
Yeah. So we're going to do a little pause here because Chris gets stuck. And for some reason, if you pause, it kind of like bypasses it and lets us start running fast.
Yeah, he does like a little bit of a lore walk to let Umber Eyes, I think it is, talk a little bit. And now a bunch of Megamind trees just pump out of nowhere. There's going to be 2 Alpha Lycans spawning. Chris doesn't give a damn. He's just going to keep on strolling right through, go to the next point. And this upcoming part is actually kind of annoying because you need to time your grenade tosses very, very specifically to not get hit or blocked by any of the Lycans coming up.
I need some backup.
So you're going to see Zeke here pump this guy right quick. with the assault rifle. He's going to go down to 30 FPS to get as slippery as possible. One grenade there, second one here, third one to get rid of this guy in the back, and then the fourth one should be the last. And if we did everything correctly, we should have free passage all the way to the cutscene that takes us into the next part. Very nice.
Ooh, and we remember to go out of 30 before getting this because you're locked into your FPS here for a little bit. So we have to mark this 3 times to progress the game. So the first time is free, but what it does is it spawns a wave of lichens, which we can, on casual, and I guess really even on boss too, not the biggest threat in the world, because we're just going to basically run over here, and we're going to wait for them to run past this red barrel.
Convenient red barrel.
There's a guy here. And now we're going to kind of wait a minute. Because at this point now we're just waiting for this to come off cooldown. And now we hope that guy is not the American sniper.
Woo! That was a little bit close.
It was a little bit. Now with this last one, it's a little bit different. There's 3 armored lichens. We're just going to shoot off their helmets so that we can flashbang them. Okay, that guy's crazy.
That guy went to the academy. Oh, did that guy not lose his helmet?
No, but he's dead.
No, I meant the second one. Okay, he did. You're fine.
Now we're just gonna wait here. Everyone's flashbang. We're gonna get in position.
I'm reloaded. Where should I point next?
And just like with the mines, if you're standing close enough, you're not gonna take damage. Something. I don't know. But yeah, now we're gonna go fight Urias Straher, I think. Something like that.
Part 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yes, sir. And our bread and butter here is going to be the grenades. We're going to be using them to do a lot of damage. And then afterwards, we're going to use the assault rifle on his weak point on the back to try to stagger him the entire fight. So we're going to throw these grenades at a very specific point where he says mute in my seat. We're going to run behind him, and we don't get staggered. Very nice. And now we just need to perma-stagger him by shooting his weak point. And something you'll notice is Zeke will reload when he's at like 1 or 2 bullets left. The whole reason for that is Chris actually has a faster reload animation if there was 1 or 2 bullets left in the chamber, instead of having 0 ammo. If he has 0, he's gonna do like a weird animation where he like looks at his clip and says, "Oh no, no more ammo," and then puts in a new one. And yeah, we don't even need Umberize actually. We don't even need to use the explosive. We just murder Urias ourselves.
Yeah, on casual, he dies pretty fast. We are DA locked. You're basically always at 1999 here. I think there's no way to ever not be at max DA here.
No,
you are literally running around
so many
blasting. Yeah, it's very, very hard. But the crit section is pretty straightforward for the most part. They really give you enough resources to deal with it pretty fast. Is that face swapped here on this cutscene? I can't remember. Yeah, it is.
Oh my god, it is.
It's so beautiful.
Giga Rose.
It's so good, yeah.
But yeah, lore-wise, story-wise, we are coming up to this little laboratory here, a little dungeon cave, where Mia actually is. And you might have seen a trailer of Mia getting shot in the head by Chris. Well, turns out that actually wasn't Mia, that was Miranda. And
this must be Miranda.
Also, for whatever reason, Mia was just kept here. I don't know why. I don't know why we wouldn't get rid of the evidence.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what Miranda's idea was there to keep Mia alive. I'm an avid Mia hater. Could have killed her. Miranda had plenty of opportunity to really get rid of Mia, but decided not to. But we're back as Ethan now. Ethan is still kind of alive, but not really. So the whole story about Ethan, you learn it here in this cutscene. This is the big reveal of 7 and 8, is that Ethan's been dead this whole time, in a sense. Ethan died in Resident Evil 7 when Jack Baker stepped on his head. But basically what happened was they gave him the mold treatment, and he turned into basically kind of like a mold monster. But he retained like his humanity, because it's a little bit different than being like an actual molded monster. But Ethan is essentially, I'm not going to say immortal, but he was sort of for the most part. We're going to buy 3 pipes, 3 mines.
Do you need the grenade launchers?
And yep, we're going to turn around and grab the grenade launcher.
Okay. Just making sure. I wasn't sure if you remembered or not.
Yeah. But yeah, essentially Ethan dies, but he's not really dead right now. He's got like some sort of second wind going on where he's able to go and he wants to really go get Miranda as the last act of what he wants to do. So what we're going to go do is we're going to go fight her. The Miranda fight has gone through a lot of different developments over the years, but this strat is mainly going to involve using 7 shots from the grenade launcher, and then 3 pipe throws, and then some very fast mine placements, and we have to kill her before she phases. It's a little tricky because we have to do everything very quickly, and we cannot lose any sort of time between, because if she transitions into what's called her dark phase, it will lose us a lot of time. So hopefully we don't have any problems here with this.
Yeah. Should be relatively free. So, like Zeke said, grenade launcher is the way to beat her. So he's just going to make sure that he hits every single shot. She's going to phase transition here. As you can see, she now becomes like a big spider looking thing instead. After 2 shots, she's going to start flying instead. You definitely do not want her to start flying at you. That does a lot of damage and is very, very terrifying. And here, 2 pipe bombs. He's going to wait with the last one to make sure it doesn't explode in the air. And now we're going to put down some mines right under her to make sure that she dies. Hopefully. Yep, there you go. That is basically Miranda dead. Now there's just a little bit of a cutscene kind of thing playing on where you have to do, I guess, sort of like a little bit of shooting. Like,
yeah, it's basically scripted. But time will be coming up when the cutscene starts after we kill Miranda here. So a couple more shots here in this sort of like a QTE section, I guess I would call it.
Yeah, you basically have to time your shots. So it's like you just damage her at specific points of the cutscene, and she will continue.
And time.
GG.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was actually a pretty good run. Minus the technical difficulties, that actually went pretty well. No real big complaints or anything, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. But that was Resident Evil's Village glitchless. It's been a while since I feel like this game's been able to be shown off, so I always appreciate the opportunity to be able to show it off. A lot of people ran this game when it was first being routed. So it's always nice to, go back to it every once in a while. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and thank you again, Nico, for the commentary. I really appreciate you coming on. It was a good time. I really do like having you on, and thank you, Ek and GDQ. You guys have had me on a lot, and I always appreciate the opportunity every single time. Just so you guys know, if you want to catch me, I'm at Captain Ezekiel everywhere, essentially. Currently on a streaming hiatus, but we'll be returning in the near future. But I speedrun a lot of games, primarily Resident Evil games, 7, Village. I basically ran almost every single Resident Evil game. But yeah, thank you again so much, you guys, for having me. If you guys want to check out Nico also is a speedrunner. You can catch him at Nico with a C on Twitch as well, and also on Twitter, I believe. So make sure you give him a look-see. And again, thank you, Ek, and thank you everyone for tuning in.
Of course.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that being said, if you did enjoy the run, you can find Captain Ezekiel's link in the chat. It should be pinned as well. If you enjoyed Nico's commentary, you can find his link as well in the chat. That is RE Village. Before we do go to, I guess, the ending here, I just want to say that if you enjoyed any of the GDQ shows, events, or hotfix, or anything like that, you can always find VODs on youtube.com/gamesdonequick. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you all for watching, and this was a Father's Day special for Speedruns from the Crypt. It's kind of early here. It's like, I think June 5th right now is the time of doing this. But for the next show, I couldn't really time it with Father's Day because it comes afterwards, so I felt this one was kind of fitting. It's kind of nice to always look at some of the different holiday themes, so hopefully you did enjoy this episode of Speedruns from the Crypt, and I guess Dad Horror. I have been your host, Dices. I do a lot of the planning I pretty much do all the planning for Speedruns in the Crypt. I'm here every 2 weeks, so if you do ever just want to know how I plan these things out or want to know anything in horror in general, well, you can find my name somewhere on this screen. Before I go as well, I just want to mention a couple things. One, we have a GDQ Discord with a hotfix role. You can keep up to date on all your favorite hotfix shows over in that Discord. You can use !Discord to find more information about that. As well, we have a Juneteenth celebration coming up on June 22nd and 23rd. And you can find more information on that using !Juneteenth. All right, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed today's show. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and